the Straight Out of BS podcast. Thank you guys so much for your support. I really appreciate it. I know I said this last time in the last video, but I'm only about 163 subscribers, I think, away from reaching 1,000. It would mean the world to me if I reached that before Christmas, but for sure before my birthday in March. That would just mean a lot to me. Thank you to everybody that supported the channel so far. I really appreciate you. Make sure you're interacting with the video. Anything you do to interact with the video, even if you dislike the video, that helps the algorithm too, because that puts just away from your algorithm and into somebody else's algorithm. So just anything you can do to interact with the video, that's fine. I appreciate your support and all that. Thank you to my Patreon members and people that have joined the channel. Donations are never expected, so they're always extremely appreciated, and everything's invested back into the podcast. Links are in the description below for that. And without further ado, or hold on, I want to do a moment of silence for the person still struggling with intrusive thoughts or addiction or anything like that. So on the count of 3, I'm going to do a moment of silence. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you for that. And without further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce my guest for the day. Go ahead and introduce yourself and where you went and what years.
Yeah, my name is Ryan Mann, and I went to Casabythesea and Tranquility Bay. And let me just grab my journal so I can give you exact dates.
Okay.
Oh, and you know, when you get to the point where after riots and after everything you're doing OP, you stop. Eventually, you stop writing in your journals because it's like, what's the point? But I mean, this one journal says, days at Casa. I got sent there May 30th, 2002. And then I got transferred to Tranquility Bay to March 9th, 2003. And my last journal entry. Oh man, remember how we used to write all the songs down? Man. I used to sell them, man.
Yeah, I used to do that too.
I mean, I have so many songs that I memorized. It's funny when your parents ground you for talking back and you're stuck in your room, like you're gonna listen to music, man. That's what we did.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, my last journal entry is 11/27/03. So November 27th, 2003.
Okay. And walk us through your childhood and like what led up to you being sent away.
All right, my man, you're gonna have to bear with me. If I had to explain to you everything, one day in my life would make most people traumatized. That's the lifestyle that I live. So I'm just gonna give you a crash course, and if you have questions, feel free to ask them because I'm prepared to answer anything, man.
Okay.
Um, when I was a kid, my real father, his name was Ted Massey, shot himself in the head right in front of me and my mother.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, he was a fucking asshole anyway. And you know it's gonna come back up later, and we'll talk about it. But my whole life, actually, I was just talking about it right now. Um, my whole life, my mom led me to believe that he committed suicide, and how could he not? He shot himself right in the head. Motherfucker survived. What the fuck? He called me when he was on his deathbed. Like I'd have to look at my Facebook pictures because right before he died, he sent me this box with all these pictures of everything. My baby clothes. I have my baby pillow that I sleep with every night, dude. I know that sounds corny, but I mean, it just reminds me of my mom, and I miss my mom, but that's a different story all in of itself. As soon as she found out the documentaries came out, just completely fucked me, alienated me from my family, not invited to Thanksgiving. I didn't even talk shit. I didn't even know until someone told me this is the reason why you're not invited. What?
That's
But
crazy.
yeah. And so many people have hit me up. I mean, this mother hit me up about her son's death and stuff. Just breaks my fucking heart. I didn't even know this shit was going on till less than a week ago, dude. I've talked to everybody, the people that escaped with me, the people that escaped out the front. the people that started the riots, the main people that started the riots, people like me. I will get to that, but back to my story. He shot. I was just a child when I was going through my mom's stuff and found tape recordings of my real father, and they were really bad. He was a heroin dealer, and he was scary. And if you want the pictures, I'll send them to you. But when him and my mom got married, he had so much blow. He has pictures of all the blow in the limousines, and my whole family's like, dude, your dad was a. We liked him, but no, we didn't like him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's like a
yeah.
double-edged sword. um, but you know, in first grade, um, my mom would have to take me to LA to a courthouse. And I remember her taking off her rings and her chain, locking the doors, telling me I better not say a fucking word to get to the courthouse in LA. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And the fucking judge put me back there and he's like, you know, this guy named Doug Mann wants to adopt you. He's married to your mom. I I mean, oh man. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Well, somebody came up to me while I was in first grade at Brea Friends Christian School. It's for elementary. And somebody came up and tried to kidnap me through the fence, man. And the teachers came and grabbed me and picked me up and started running and called the police. I
Wow.
have no I have no idea who it was to this day. I guarantee it was probably Ted or someone in this family because they've all tried to hit me up over the years, and I'm just not interested. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I remember the judge pulling me back and being like, "You want this guy to adopt you?" And I was like, "Sure, man." Later, do I find out my real father shot himself in the head because my mom was cheating on my real father with this cocksucker. And trust me, me and him have gone rounds and rounds over the years, and he's scared to death of me. um, but yeah, man, my real father shot his tires out.
Wow.
Yeah, and I didn't find any of this out until like maybe I'm just estimating, man, because everything's kind of a blur to me. But it's got to be at least 5 years or longer ago. They all fucking sent me this box with everything, and I talked to him on the phone. And right before Ted, like one of the few days before he died, I only talked to him one time. And when I talked to him, it wasn't what he was expecting.
Yeah.
It was more like, "You're a fucking dumbass, man. You're not a fucking father. Why are you calling me before you're about to die? You know what, man? I'm a real man. Where's your fucking balls at? You couldn't call me 10 years ago? Couldn't call me 20 years ago? You want to call me and ask for my sympathy and my forgiveness while you're on your deathbed? Motherfucker, you ain't getting it. You're
Yeah.
gonna fucking die, and I'm not fucking giving you any piece of empathy, motherfucker. You're out of your fucking mind. You called the wrong motherfucker." Yeah. And then 2 days later, he died. And I don't regret any of that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he
Yeah.
should have been present.
Yeah. I don't regret any of it, my man. And he's a piece of shit. And the reason why I know that for a fact, my man, proof. Proof is in the pudding. Dude, he had his parents pay for him until he died.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Me, my mom said if I quit claim deed my house to her, she would pay for me for the rest of my life. I sold my house. I'm not a pussy, man.
Yeah.
Pussies have their fucking parents pay for their shit. I got in a huge car accident and I got $20,000 paycheck because I got hit by an illegal immigrant, man. And I have not been able to go back to work since then. And I took that $20,000 check, and my mom's rich. She probably would have paid off my whole like $17,000 in mortgage debt. But I mean, not like I was a deadbeat. I filled all the proper paperwork, and it was deferred to the end of my loan while I was in the hospital. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? And
Yeah.
so my mom's like, "Fuck that, man. Just pay it, Ryan." So I did. I paid the whole thing, 17 grand. Right now, my life's worth $5,000 until I get out of this house. Which I'll give you a tour, homie. You want to see what a fucking you want to see what it looks like, homie? I'll show you what it looks like, bro. I mean, it's dangerous to be me because I think I told you this. They found a large mass on my pancreas. That makes me dangerous. 9 months to live. That makes me dangerous. Not like I'm gonna go hurt people, but I don't have nothing to give a fuck about anymore.
Yeah.
I got 9 months. What
Yeah.
the fuck? That
Yeah.
makes me dangerous, man. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I feel you.
Yeah. But I'll continue on. Um, I got kicked or after the whole court proceeding, like people were like asking me all kinds of shit. The teachers, the counselors, um, like it was a big deal that I got adopted. And they changed my last name to Man, which I'm changing it back to Zappa. My last name, my real last name is Zappa.
With a ZAPPA?
Yep.
It's totally fine. All right, go ahead.
So yeah, man, all the teachers and the counselors were asking me redundant questions, and so I started acting out. I figured out that something was going on, something was wrong. I got kicked out, um, and I'm still friends to this day with people that were there with me. Huge people like Jill Lopez. She's a model.
Wow.
Um, After that, my parents sent me to public school to Fanning Elementary. And some of the people that were there with me at Friends Christian Church, that were my some of my best friends, their parents actually sent them to public school with me. Because I mean, we were a community at that point. If that's one thing my mom was good at, it was like trying to control every situation. There
Yeah.
was always some community. But yeah, I went there for second grade, third grade, and then in fourth grade, I found my stepdad's porn magazines, and he made me get a job when I was in the second grade, um, cleaning up people's driveways because he owned a business called Brea Auto Repair and the Brea hardware store. They paid me $40 a week, and I had to clean the whole parking lot. And then
Wow.
I went to then I got kicked out of there, and then I got sent to the place across the street from him. It was a wood factory. This guy like chiseled like huge, huge artist. He chiseled all kinds of cool shit, and he made a living off of it. And I had to clean up his shop. There was like wood shavings everywhere on the floor. That was my job. I cleaned it up. $40 a week. And then my coolest job I ever had, ever, and I probably learned the most at this one, was at the meat factory. Fuck man, I'm trying to remember what it was called. Tremaine. It's on it's Doug Mann's, my stepdad's shop's on 291 North Orange, Brea, California. Right across from it was the Tremaine Meat Factory. And since I had gotten kicked out of school left and right and suspended here and there, they put me in the back in the freezer and he taught me how to box. I remember he had his shorts just far enough where his pubes were sticking out, man. It was disgusting. And I was like, come on, man. But he owned a place at Huntington Beach, and there was women everywhere, everywhere. It was awesome to be a kid if you were me. But I started smoking weed at a really young age. And one of my dad's partners, God rest his soul, he's passed away. His name's Danny Sosby. He ran a business out of Brea Auto Repair, and he got me started into baseball cards. You don't want to see it, dude. The phone right now is on about 5,000 baseball cards.
There you
He
go.
got me started in it, yeah. And his kids were fucking nuts. they would take me while I was like 11, 12, and 13 years old to these parties where the youngest person besides me was like 22, 23.
How old were you during that time?
10, 11, 12, and
Wow.
13.
Wow.
Yeah, I was such a fucking shit stick. He took me in because my parents were talking about sending me to military school. Well,
Okay.
guess what? Oh, I got kicked out of Fannin Elementary in 4th grade because I found my dad's porno magazines and I cut out each and individual girl. Each individual girl. And I went to school the next day. I went home with a stack of ones that was thick.
Yep.
And the 5th and 6th graders were coming after me. And they caught me behind the backstop and beat the shit out of me, man. Took my magazine and I came back the next day with 10 of them.
Wow. There you go.
So they brought my parents into the office after they caught me because the 5th and 6th graders are the ones that got caught, not me.
Yeah.
My homies were deep and thick. I'm always like, you're either my real good homie or you're my enemy.
Well, also, it's probably they wouldn't have suspected you because you were so young. You know what I mean? Who the fuck is going to be doing that in that grade? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And when they caught me and they brought me into the office with my stepdad and my mom, my stepdad was just looking at me. And that's when I learned that I was never, ever, ever going to be a snitch.
Yeah.
Ever. It's a code that I live by, my man.
Yep. There you go. Good code.
You know, it's hard enough for me to do this because the one thing I'm not going to do is talk shit about my mom because I think that her intentions were pure when she sent me there.
Well, yeah, and parents were brainwashed too.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's the bottom line, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there are some outliers where the parents were just actual pieces of shit, but for the most part, the
Oh, yeah,
larger
but there's
percent.
always going to be outliers in everything in life.
But for the big percentage of things, like they were brainwashed too, they were bamboozled too. They thought they were doing the best thing or whatever, you know.
And the thing is, Jordan, is that there's always going to be outliers in everything in life.
Yep. Nope.
And
True.
so, yeah, and so you got to accept that. I think that my mom had good intentions. I think that I'm not going to go into her because I'm just not going to go there. I don't need to.
Yeah.
She knows what she did. She knows what she's still doing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she can hold herself accountable. I don't give a fuck. Dude,
Yeah.
are you kidding me, man? I'd rather go to my homies' houses than my family's. It's like WWE when we get there. It's a huge pain in the ass. And so it's like they're doing me a favor.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just so fake, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole thing's just a fake persona. But yeah, I got kicked out for selling porn. I haven't told that story in a hot minute. Dude. And then when I was in 5th grade, they sent me to military school.
Like an actual military,
like
like an actual military school, or was it like the T.T.I?
Hardcore military school in Anaheim, California, called St. Catherine's Military School. If you want, man, I'll just go right here. My yearbooks right there. My homies came here and fucking went through my house to find all my journals and military school yearbooks after they watched the documentary. Because I've been telling this story for fucking over 20 years.
Yep, screaming it from the rooftops.
Yeah, and if you
Yep.
want to see my military yearbooks, I'll show them to you.
Yeah, if you want to bring them over, go ahead.
It's crazy that we have to relive this shit, but if we don't, then who's gonna fucking help these kids that are still locked up?
I know, exactly. Exactly.
Well, I just grabbed a few.
Okay. So this was a religious military school. What was their religion of choice? Was it Catholic? Was it Christian?
Yeah,
What?
it was a hardcore Catholic military school. I mean, it taught me a lot. I don't think it was a bad place to go. I mean, the education that we got there was top notch. What sucked for me was that I was the youngest person by 2 years.
How old were you?
I don't know, man. Let's look.
Probably before you be preteen, right?
This is
Probably like
1999, and this one is 1998. Those are the 2 years. And then I went there for a third year, but I got kicked out, so I didn't get a yearbook.
okay.
So
Okay.
I don't know how that would make me.
I would say probably like either you would just turn into a teenager, like 13 or like 12, 13, somewhere around there, right?
Yeah, I was 13 years old, I think. I might
Okay.
have been 12, man. I might have been 12 because 13. I got sent away when I was 15 years old to Mexico. So, and I did a half a year in 8th grade and a half a year I did a half a year in 7th grade at a public junior high called Brea Junior High. So I was only there for 5th, 6th, and half of 7th grade. So 2.5 years, almost 3.
Okay. So probably like right there on 13 or 12,
Yeah.
13, somewhere around. Okay.
Yeah. And you know what? It was a fucking boarding school.
What was different about, looking back on it, what was different about that compared to the T.T.I places you went? What?
Well, I mean, it's the reason why I survived the way I did, and the reason why I was able to start riots and shit. Because when I went there in 5th grade, the closest person to my age was in 7th grade. It's
Yeah.
in the yearbooks, and so I got my ass handed to me, big time, man, for like a year and a half, and then they train you to fight and they train you to wrestle and box, and after a while you just get used to everything. And when 7th graders were coming in, and I started my 7th grade year, what do you think I did? Man, I was running racketeering, selling porn, fucking people up. You looked at me wrong, I'll fuck you up. I mean, escaping to Carl's Jr. It was the same as being locked up in the program because you weren't allowed to leave.
Yeah.
It was all
Yeah.
boarding military school.
Yeah.
But that didn't mean that. And you know what? This came in handy when I was in Casa by the Sea because I'm the one that helped man escape.
Yeah. Yep.
We tied we fucking did it the movie style, man. We tied sheets together. And the reason we got caught is because the sheets came loose and someone broke their leg falling out of a 2nd-story window.
Yeah.
So I got I remember my stepdad saying, "What do you mean you're kicking him out of a military school? It's a military school."
Yeah.
You're gonna reward him for bad. You're gonna reward him for bad behavior. They're like, I don't know, man. I mean, like, while I was there, they took me out of the general ranks where you had to march and do this and do that, and they put me in this like elementary, and they were all nuns, by the way. Like if you ask me to compare it, instead of having staff, we had nuns. And
Interesting.
and we had nuns, and then we had people that were lieutenants and colonels retired from the army.
Interesting.
Yeah, but the nuns are the ones that watched us when we went to sleep. And we had TV and we had phones, and you know, there was no social media or cell phones at the time, so we didn't have that. But I'm sure if they existed, we'd have I almost want to go back to this place and do an interview with them because I guarantee they remember Ryan, man. No matter where I go, they remember Ryan, man.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I have some questions about the military school.
Absolutely.
Did you have to attend church on a regular basis? Was that part
Yeah,
of the?
mandatory.
Okay. And
I
what
was
would
in the
happen?
choir. If you look
Well,
at my yearbook, I was in the choir, and you had to go every Sunday. Plus, you had to do Bible studies 3 to 4 times a week.
okay. And
And
what would?
and
Go
one
ahead.
of the classes was history on religion.
Okay. And what would be the consequence if you were to refuse to do that or just refuse in general there? What would they do?
They would make you march at first. You had to
Okay.
march for like a certain amount of time. And then it would go to running laps around the
Okay.
field. And then after that, the fucking monster truck tires with the 40-pound rope, dude. And when you're that age, I mean, it's hard to pick one of those up just
Yeah.
even one time. But the cool thing about it is that, when you're marching and running laps, it's all solo, but you had to work as a team to get those trucks moving and to move the rope.
Yeah.
So
Teaching
you
you
got
how to work as a unit.
so it builds a bond. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That bond builds. I'm still friends with those kids today.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, man, I mean, I'll answer any questions that you got about that military school shit, because I would honestly, if my kid, I got sent there for the wrong reasons. I got sent there because I was acting out, and smoking a little bit.
Acting out for a reason, though. You had underlying reasons for acting out. You
Yeah.
weren't just acting out to act out like all child.
What?
Children don't act out for just no reason. You know what I mean? There's a deep underlying reason.
Yeah. And you know what? I'd ask myself all the time, like, why are you getting in so much trouble? Like, try to do better. I would actively try to do better, and then I just end up
Mm-hmm.
fucking.
Yep.
I was a kid. You know what? That shit happens.
That's part of growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like during this time, while I was in military school, I became a person that I did not like.
In what way?
When new kids would come in, and now it's like, I've been beaten up for so long. Now it's my turn to do it. I learned from the best, and I learned very quickly that it was wrong.
Yeah.
That's a part of my life I'm gonna have to live with, and thank God I didn't hurt anybody. I mean, physically, mentally, what I did was not okay.
Yeah.
There's probably gonna be kids out there that will tell stories about me and what I did, because I thought I was carrying on some tradition that was sacred. Come to find out, it just made me feel like a piece of shit, and I was just done with it.
Yeah. You were indoctrinated from day one
Yeah.
into this is how things are. We do things here. This is how you're supposed to act. You know what I mean? And coming in at
Doesn't make it
12 to
okay.
13. Go ahead.
It doesn't make it okay though, my man.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's okay, but I'm just trying to get like there's reasons for everything, and not to justify it, but there's reasons for everything when you're that age, 12 to 13 years old, and you come in from day one being indoctrinated with those kind of things and seeing all these things and seeing how people act and how they react, like it forms your brain and just how the way you think and what you think is okay and what you think is right and all of that. So
Hey, I'm gonna show you the picture, man. But this place, this military school, oh, I didn't even know all these people signed my yearbook because I was in prison.
cool.
Damn. But I'll show you a picture so you can get like an idea of like what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Um,
And then if you could send me a copy of the picture too afterwards, so then when I'm doing the video, I can overlay it.
hey, Jordan, like I'm gonna pause on that one because I'm
Okay.
starting my podcast, and this is going to be my story, and I'm very happy to do it with you too.
No, no.
But I mean, how does it work with all the copyrights and everything?
What do you mean with all the copyrights?
Yeah, that I sent you a picture. Does that mean you own it?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't mind that.
I mean, if I was an asshole and I was that kind of person, then I could try and pull that, but I'm not, I have
But
integrity.
you're
So, I mean,
Carrie, Kari. She really is like your poster child, man. She at first when I saw your picture with your pink hair, I said something to her about it, and she was like, "No, you got it all wrong, man. He's a really cool guy." And I was like, "All right, I'm gonna give him a chance." She's like, "You need to. He's the real deal." And so far, everything I've heard about you is the real deal. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No.
picture. I'm in a lot of these pictures, but I'll just show you one. I don't know which one it's gonna be, but just to give you an idea of the size I was. Oh, this is grade 6. Let me find one in the family. Because you asked, like, oh, Bravo Company. Here's my family. Look at how small I was.
Which one are you? Which one's you? Wow. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, man. I got my
Yes.
fucking.
Yeah.
And so, that's what led me to start the riots and everything, is because my experiences there. Because when I got sent to the program, I was like 15 years old. Exactly 15 years old. And I didn't take shit from nobody. And if you compare the two facilities, they're different. Shit.
Yeah. Two different facilities, meaning Casa by the Sea and Tranquility Bay. Is that what the two you're
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Just to clarify.
Mexico, they would swing on you and just knock you out.
Yeah.
Throw you into walls so hard you would be knocked out, black out. In Jamaica, it was more about torture.
Yeah.
That's the difference between the two facilities.
Okay.
But yeah, man. So I'll keep going. Let's see here. Uh, while after I got kicked out of military school because I told you already, somebody fell and broke their leg. But when I got sent to public school, it just opened up a whole new pathway to my life.
Okay.
Because
So wait.
my,
So wait. After. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no,
Finish. I was just gonna ask. So after you got kicked out of military school, did you then go back home and then start public school? Is that what happened?
yeah, when I got kicked out,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Okay.
the only reason, and what's really more fucked up, man, this is my luck, is that our next door neighbor was the principal. What?
What are the chances? What are the chances?
My mom took me to a place that's like Zoomies, right?
Yeah.
And she bought me a red Hurley sweatshirt. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Hurley.
Yep. Yep. The brand. Yep.
Yeah. And when I walked in, he's like, "You can't wear that sweatshirt because
Yep.
you're gonna stand out. You can't wear red here, Ryan. This is a public school." I'm like, "Okay, what kind of clothes can I get? Black and white only."
Yep. Dress
Okay.
code. Dress code almost.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, like I'll just start from the beginning, I guess. I mean, like I said, if I have to go through every story, we could sit here for days.
No,
I'll just
that's fine. Whatever you want to tell, however long it is. I mean, Carrie, the first interview I did with her was 3.5 hours long. The second
yeah,
interview I did was like 3 hours long. So I mean, like, you're good, bro. Just whatever you want to say.
all right. So in 7th grade, I came in there coming from military school, and oh shit, someone's trying to call me, man. Fuck. Send a voicemail. Another very important part of my life that helped me become the man I am today is that when you're in military school all year round, you get to come home for a month during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And during those summers, my parents put me in a community center. They
Okay.
called it Brea Community Center.
Okay.
And so you're there all day long, hanging out with the same people more than you hang out with your parents or anyone. And we would go to places like Knott's Berry Farm and
Nice.
Magic Mountain, and just like raging waters. Once a week, we all went to like you just build this bond, right? When I got to Brea Junior High in 7th grade, halfway through it, I knew people like Benjamin Foster and Brandon Stiles, and I mean all these fucking like hard hitters. What do you think we were doing when our parents dropped us off at the community center? You think we were there to watch a TV and make friends?
Probably
No.
not.
We walked tracks. Damn, dude, this girl could not stop blowing me up. She's in prison. I'm supposed to go pick her up next month. Yeah, man, we walked the train tracks and fucking. I think we got kicked out of everywhere. Round Table, which in this state is called Idaho Pizza, but in California it's called Round Table. In and Out, McDonald's. We would sit there and panhandle in the mornings because our parents didn't give us fucking money to eat because they were broke.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like we had to take care of ourselves. And it wasn't like you can leave and come back, Brian, during the day. No. 7 o'clock in the morning, get your fucking ass up and out of the fucking house. Doors are locked. Figure it out.
Yep. Yep.
So, I mean, we all rode our Haro bikes. Do you know what a Haro bike is?
Yep. Of course. Of course.
Man, with pegs, we'd get down there and
Yep.
do our skateboarding. We built, like, there was this place, like, up this super steep hill where I lived, and it's just barren. The police don't fuck with you. That's where everyone smoked weed, fucked.
Hell
We built
yeah.
it's like dirt bike jumps, like these huge ones, man. If you didn't eat shit and have to go to the hospital, you weren't doing it right.
Yep. There you go.
Dude, you're gonna have to take some chances if you want to do that shit.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I still got all the scars, man. I mean, all over my lower arms, dude. I mean,
Oh yeah, I see that one.
eating shit and like road rash.
Yeah, I got some scars too. I used to skateboard and all that too. So
I used to aggressive skate. So I was really big into, dude, like there's so many things that I've never thought about before this interview. But yeah, the community centers, they really helped shape me. And it made a huge difference when I got to junior high. Because right off the bat, somebody fucked with me. I whipped his ass in front of everybody. And then everyone's like, man, he's from military school. That's right. He's from military school. Nobody ever fucked with me ever again.
yep.
At least not that grade. Damn, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah. Another thing that really helped shape my life was hockey.
Like
And
roller
wrestling.
hockey or ice hockey?
Both.
Yep. I used to play roller hockey.
Yeah, I mean, my stepdad, he fixed all the cars for the organization. It was a roller hockey team called the Bullfrogs in
Nice.
California,
Nice.
and the Gulls in San Diego.
Awesome.
I had my little stint in San Diego. We'll get to that. Remind me to get to that because it's
Yep.
not something
Okay.
you remember. But yeah, hockey, it really helped shape my life because you just build a bond with these people.
Yep. And learn teamwork and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, after games, you would go to Shakey's. I don't know if you're aware of that, what it is. It's like all you can eat pizza, potato
Nice.
wedges, salad bar, fucking everything. That's where you would go. And they had video games there. And video games were a big thing when I was a kid. Twisted
Yep.
Metal. I
Me
remember
too.
that.
Twisted Metal's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah. And so in 7th grade, I got into a couple fights, got suspended. I had to go on an MTV program. Wait, let me tell you what I did first. In 8th grade, and this is my best friend to this day. You know what? Can we please start over and can I say something from the beginning? Like after this whole thing?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it right now, but I'd like to say it at the beginning.
You want me to put it at the beginning? Yeah, I'll cut it and put it at the beginning.
I just want to give you a little bit of background information about what's currently going on in my life.
Okay.
They found a dead body in my house 3 months ago.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, my best friend Matt, he committed suicide. There was a suicide note. It's very controversial, but I was in the hospital at the time, and my mom asked him to find my pills and flush them down the toilet, knowing that he was an ex-addict.
Yeah.
He was found dead with one of my journals in his hand. That's why this is so passionate for me. He was found dead with my journal in his hand with 2 pill bottles full of oxys and clonazepam with my
Deadly
name on it.
combo. Deadly combo.
Yeah. And so during the same week, if you look at my Facebook, everything else, my best friend was my dog, X. I've gone to jail and prison over him. That's we'll get to that, man. That's an epic story all in of its own, you know.
Yeah.
But this guy, he was an illegal. We're not. I'll get to that when we get there, man. I'm skipping so much stuff, but it's just not important. Who cares?
No, if you're thinking of it, it's important. You know, whatever you want to say, man.
I just don't even know. All right. So in 8th grade, I went on missions for a church in Fullerton.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. It was on Orchard and Brea Boulevard. It was called Harvest.
Okay.
Harvest Crusade. And their main one's in Riverside, but there was one in Fullerton as well. We would go on missions. Do you know what those are?
Like just outreach.
Yeah, like we would get on buses and go down to Tijuana and build infrastructures for the poor people there. Bring them food, bring them water, bring them the gospel, free Bibles. We had to live in our own tents. We had to pay to go.
Yep.
It was a big deal. Well, the most popular kid in 8th grade was Philip Sloan. He went, me and him, oh, that's such a huge story, man. Oh my gosh. Anyway, we'd go on these missions, and I remember there was 2 times when we got pulled over. And the first time we got pulled over, I told everyone, take your fucking money, leave $20, $25 in your pocket, and shove the rest in your sock underneath your foot and in between your foot and your sock. Sure enough, they made us take our shoes off. Pat searched us and stole all our money. But thank God I told everyone to put the money in their socks.
Yeah.
What the fuck, man? You know? And the second time, they actually made us turn around and go back to the United States.
The police, or who was this that was telling you?
Federales.
Okay.
They were like, you're not welcome here. And it's like, why? Well, looking back, it's like, why? Why would we not be welcome there? What were they trying to hide us? I mean, I never went back on another mission because, you know, I got sent away.
Yeah.
That really helped shape my life. When you're around that many good people who are making decisions based on their ethics and values, it rubs off on you at some point. And you start to create these new ethics and values, and it completely reshapes your life.
Yep.
It's the why I've never been a bully except for one time. And that was when I was in military school, and I learned my lesson, man. That was one time too many.
Yeah, and
Right?
you realized that it was wrong. You
Yeah.
were indoctrinated from day one in that military school, but then now you look back on it and you realize that it was wrong. So that's where the growth is. You know what I mean? Is realizing it's wrong, and you can't take it back, but you know that it was wrong, and you're not that person.
When you do it, your moral compass takes over, and you decide right then and there, who do you want to be? What kind of person do you want to grow up to be?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Just hit like a truck. And I'm still friends to this person to this day. He's tired of my apologies. He just have a shot in the beer. Come visit me once every couple of years. he's still one of my good homies, man. And I regret it, you know, but you can't
Yeah.
go back and change it. So it's important to remember how you felt during that moment so you never make that mistake again.
Yep.
You know? So, yeah. All right. So in 8th grade, I stole. So my best friend, and he's my best friend right now. His name's Richard Alexander. Um, he lives in Orange County, California. He's super big in finance. He's rich as fuck, man. He's supposed to give me one of his Raptor trucks. I'm
Nice.
supposed to go visit him quick here, man. Go on my cancer tour. But yeah, man. I got sent to the principal's office because I drew a penis in Spanish class on the wall. I drew a penis on the wall, pointing at the teacher. Her name was Miss Brevard, and she was a fucking bitch. She was like mean to us for no reason, man.
Yeah, I know
Throw,
teachers like
yeah,
that.
yeah. She used to throw weight around, but yeah, so I drew a penis, and then I got in trouble. And then Richard brought it to my attention. I totally forgot. I thought it was in the program, but it was actually, um, well, actually, we haven't got to this part yet, but I'll tell you in case I forget. In 9th grade, our English teacher was Mr. Teal, and during the Pledge of Allegiance, I pulled his chair and he ate shit.
Nice.
I mean, it was fucking hilarious. But anyway, in 8th grade, I ended up getting into most trouble because this guy named Chris Anderson was friends with the guy I told you, the most popular guy, Phil Sloan. Chris Anderson wanted to fight me because he was jealous that me and Phil were like homies. And so I whooped his ass right across the school in the apartment complexes, and everyone was there to watch.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a second. Whoa. Hey, do you like him? Do you like him? How about I give you $100 to fight?
Yeah.
$100?
I've been to a
Who's
few
got
fights like that in high school.
yeah, who's got $20? Who wants to watch a fight? I hired security, dude, to make
Nice.
sure people that weren't paying up could not come watch the fights. Well, like it only lasted for less than 2 weeks, I think, because I remember my ass was in the principal's office, and I remember so greatly because it was my neighbor, number one, and number two, I saw this World Industry skateboard. You probably don't know that who that
No, I
is.
know him. I know him.
Oh yeah, there
Yeah.
was this fucking nice ass World Industries skateboard with brand new trucks and wheels, and I stole it. And it just happens that it was my fucking best friend's brother, his his, his older brother, and this was in 7th grade because he was in 8th grade. And I remember coming to Richard and be like, dude, I got arrested, man. I have to go on this thing called Scared Straight. The last thing I need is for your brother to beat me up at school and embarrass me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
brother would whip my ass, man. And I'm really good friends with John to this day. He's one of the best homies, man. Like, I may not have a million friends. There's probably a million people that, not a million, there's probably a lot of people that think they're my friends, but I probably have real friends wise, probably less than 500. That's it.
I have like 3 or 4 total that I
Yeah, but
actually see
those
physically.
are like your closest friend. Because
Yeah.
look at, I've had 2 people this week. They want to do interviews with you, Shaquan Daly and Silas Quinters. I haven't heard from them in 20 years. I consider them to be one of my best friends. We escaped
Yeah.
together. We have a bond. So just because you think you only have 3 or 4 friends, that doesn't mean that there's people you just haven't been completely in contact with on a daily basis, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was just referring to people like physically here in my
Yeah.
life in Seattle. You
Oh,
know what I mean? I know that I have like tons of support and stuff, like friends in the survivor
yeah.
community for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
You know.
Okay, I get what you're saying. So I got 5 then. I got 5 or maybe 10 less. And like that's saying a lot because I'm not friends with all my family anymore. I completely got disowned, and it's their loss.
Yeah, it really is.
It's their loss, man. And I honestly believe that. I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have fun with the rest of my life. I deserve it.
Damn
And,
right.
and I'm gonna say one thing about my mom, and that's gonna be the end of it. When one of my girls, her name's Kayla, you should see a picture of her, man. She's smoking on it. She's, oh man, the girl situation is a whole nother story, man. But she went to the doctor with me, and they said they found a large mass on my pancreas. Well, she went behind my back and texted my mom, "Hey, Mickey, I went to the doctors yesterday with Ryan, and they found a large mass on his pancreas, and they want to diagnose it as cancer, but before they can, he has to get a biopsy." Not even 2 weeks later, I found out that my mom knew this whole time. It broke my heart.
Unbelievable.
She was going to leave me to die again. And that's all I'm going to say about my mother. That's it. I'm not going to go down that road.
Yeah.
You feel me?
No, I definitely feel you. And I'm sorry about the cancer. Hopefully it'll just clear up, honestly.
Yeah, cancer, homie. My feet are completely swollen. Look at this shit. I just went to the hospital, pulled my medical records. Look at this motherfucker, dude.
What am I looking at? What are the pins? Wow.
And that's just a first back fusion. And so my feet are completely swollen. I'm in a wheelchair. If I want to, I can walk with the walker. If I really want to, if my adrenaline's up, I can just walk. But I gotta get down real quick because my feet just swell up like balloons. You want to see what they look like right now?
I mean, if you want to show. Damn, I can see that from the camera.
Yeah, man, it's a pain in the ass, dude. So
is it hard to put on shoes? Do you wear shoes?
I can't wear shoes.
I'm sorry to hear that, man. Have you tried RSO? Like, you know about cannabis and all of that, right?
Yeah,
and
man,
its tendency.
No, man, I'm done with all that bullshit. I mean, I lived a good life. I saved a lot of kids' lives, and I'm gonna spend the rest of my life trying to shut down Tranquility Bay.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I'm cool with dying. I lived a healthy life.
So you're just kind of resigned. So you're just kind of resigned to your fate, or like with the cancer.
Because here's the thing, man. I never got to finish, man. So I lost my best friend, one of my best friends, Matt. I'm not gonna use his last name. Because I was under investigation for murder, and I'm just sick of all the bullshit. I'm on the fucking first name basis with all the cops in my neighborhood. But anyway, I opened my house up to an illegal immigrant. He was from the Middle East, and he was a homosexual. That might bother a lot of people, but I grew up with that shit around me. It doesn't bother me. One of my best friends is a transgender. Do we see eye to eye? Probably not. But do we let that hinder us from being friends for plus 20 years? No, it doesn't get in the way, man. He's not like flamboyant. He doesn't push it on me. He truly believes in it. And so I can respect that. We don't have to see eye to eye on things. We see eye to eye on the things that matter to me and my values and ethics. Does that make sense?
No, totally.
And so this illegal immigrant lived with me for like 22 days and he called the police. This is the first time, and the cops have been at my house. Fuck. They just take over, man. But the first time, this motherfucker, and don't get me wrong, man, the cops are at my house left and right all the time, right? I've been all over the place in jails and shit. But I mean, he called the cops on my friend Matt and tried to file sexual abuse charges against a child against him because he was playing Fortnite, and when he won, he said, "Yeah, suck my."
Still
Now,
there?
what? Probably not. But is he trying to fucking molest a child? Probably not, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and like he sent like so many messages. I'm gonna call the police. I googled it. You're gonna go to prison for 25 years because I googled it. Is you stupid? Shut the fuck up, you Mimo.
Yeah.
His name goes by Mimo, and he's one giant pain in my ass. He calls the cops all the time. Every single time we've gone to court, he's lost, but he still can drag me there. There's different policies for illegal immigrants, and that's bullshit. And I know what they are. And when we get to that point, we can go over it because the police are begging me to take this motherfucker to court, which I am, to subpoena them. They're tired of having their hands tied behind their back. They're tired of it. Who can blame them? These guys are having off this motherfucker named me blowing them up. Oh, Ryan won't let me come to his house. No shit, you dumbass. There's a police protection order. Well, I Googled it. You Googled it? Motherfucker, you better back the fuck up before I fuck you up. And you know what, man? When I had to tell the police, you better look my rap sheet up because you know what's going to happen if he steps on my property. What, are you threatening him, Ryan? I'm not threatening him. But if he steps on my property, since you guys want legally, oh, they made it very clear if I shoot them, they're coming for me. I said, you guys made it very clear I can't own a firearm. So guess what? You can't stop me from owning a knife. I'm going to put this motherfucker straight into his throat and just rip it right out, dude. Straight across. Whack. Done. And they came and said, well, Ryan, we can't stop you. Will you call us if he shows up there before you do that? No. Those days are over with, man. I have a dead homie on my hands. You guys fucking didn't do your fucking job. What the fuck do we pay taxes for, bro?
Okay, so I'm a little bit confused. So the illegal immigrant friend, he came to live at your house, and then he was playing Fortnite and said that, and then it got blown out of proportion. And then are those the only two people in this story?
The one I'm telling you right now, yes. One of them killed
Okay.
himself. The other one's an illegal immigrant. But there's a ton of other people in the story, man.
Okay. So the person you were saying that if they came onto your property, was that the illegal immigrant you're referring to, or?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to click because I was kind of confused. So.
Yeah, man. And we'll get to that, right? But that's a story for itself, and I want it to be heard. Oh man. So 8th grade ends, 9th grade starts. It was in 9th grade when I pulled that chair out for my teacher, by the way. Mr. And yeah, I mean, I'm just going to bring up one story because we could sit here for days. But this is probably what made me a super big legend. I was already a legend. I mean, everybody wants to be my friend at this point. Everybody wants to be my friend now, but I ain't got time. But I mean, the biggest thing I can say about 9th grade was that, oh gosh, man. I guess I'll go into it. I'm going to do it quick. I have an older sister. Her boyfriend, his name's Alan Davidson. He was a wrestling coach. He's a 2-time California state champion. And he was my coach. And he was a fucking badass. I watched him with the baseball bat take out like 15 Mexicans at the bottom. You know what? Can you Google Maps my high school? Because somebody Google mapped it yesterday and was like, holy shit, man, that's crazy. What we went through in high school was nuts. I'm going to only bring up 2 stories. First, and there's a ton of stories, man. The first one is I was in football. I got the pictures, man, of the guy and this guy, but he was that guy freshman year that had a fucking beard. And like his puberty kicked in way faster than that. But our puberty was already kicking in, obviously. I mean, we were fucking at that age, but like he was the guy that had a fucking beard and shit. You know what I'm talking about? That guy?
Yeah.
Well, I was getting a ton of pussy at the time. I'm not gonna use that word on your own. I was like, high school dating here and there, right? And some of the hottest girls in the school, and this guy was jealous. And he came into the locker room while we were at done with football practice, and he grabbed me by the back of my shirt and just threw my ass into these lockers. Big
Wow.
mistake. Big fucking mistake. Dude, I'm dangerous, man. When you have somebody at the fucking meat market letting you go to town on beef and training how to box, and then when your brother-in-law is a two-time wrestling champion, what the fuck do you think was gonna happen?
Yeah.
Dude, I remember just picking his. I remember getting off the floor and blocking his punches with one hand, grabbing him, going behind his back, picking him up as high as I could, running like 4 steps, and just suplexing his ass.
Nice.
And dude kept fighting, and I just tack, 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 tack. And then I grabbed his hands, and I was like, "Are you done?" And then he spit in my face. Fucking pussy. What do you think I did? I think you know what I did. When we walked out of there, man, that was a wrap. That was a wrap. And after that happened, it's a tricky thing because my reputation went around the whole high school. Like, who's this guy, Ryan Mann? And did you know that his brother-in-law's Alan Davidson and his sister Summer Mann? She was the prom queen. Do you know that Ryan Mann's that's her little brother? So I was like fucking around with seniors, and the people in my grade were straight up gangsters. Straight up. Brandon Stiles, Ben Foster, um, Max Wilson was the Max Wilson. He had 2 older brothers, and remember that guy that went on the mission with me, Phil Sloan?
Yeah.
He had 2 older brothers too, and so somebody on the varsity football team picked on one of these people, and you know the cafeteria was set up where the freshmen were at the very bottom level, and then it was sophomores and sophomores and fuck. I never went to high school. What is it? Freshman, sophomore, junior.
Junior. Yeah.
It was and the very top was seniors. That's how it went. It was a hierarchy, and I remember all of us going up to the senior section and going straight into football territory of the varsity and just unloading hell. It was during lunch. It was fucking mayhem, man. There was fucking people bleeding everywhere, including teachers. They're half the size of these guys, man. They're all way bigger than me. I'm the smallest one of the bunch. I'm always getting fucked with first.
Yeah.
But guys, man, I mean, when you're talking about knocking out the quarterback and knocking out like the running back, it was a huge deal. We all got suspended for 2 weeks, and we're all put on gang watch.
That's
But
crazy.
yeah, man. But dude, let me finish this story from earlier. I'm sorry, I get backtracked, man.
Cool.
When I stole my best friend's brother's skateboard, they sent me this program called Scared Straight.
Yep. I've heard of it.
Yeah, and yeah, I just wanted to tell you that. I mean, it didn't do anything for me. They were screaming in my face and shit. I'm like, shut your fucking mouth, bitch. You ain't gonna do shit, motherfucker. But I mean, you had to go to court in front of a judge, and when you got sentenced, it was like equivalent to getting sentenced now and having to do classes. That's what it was at the time.
So would they give you a choice? You can either do your time or you can take these classes, or was it you had to do both?
No, they said, you're juvenile and you have a petty theft. If you go to this class, we'll wipe that off your record. Which
Yep.
and they wiped it off my record.
Okay.
They
Okay.
never wiped record. It was supposed to be gone. It's supposed to be sealed when you turn 18, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so every single time I've ever applied for a job, it shows up.
Yep.
A petty
That's what they
theft.
do.
You don't want that to show up,
Yep. Of course not.
Yeah.
How long were you doing that for?
It was only during the days, and it was a 2-day event. You'd show up there in the morning. You'd go there. They'd walk you into the fucking California Youth Authority. I'm not sure if you know what that is or not.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, it was hardcore. People died all the time, dude. It was, in my opinion, it's got to be as bad as the places I've been.
Okay, so for the people that might not know, for the lay person watching this video, what is that? Is it like a foster care, like transitional type thing?
So there was an influx of people going to prison in the 90s. And so they created the California Youth Authority, which is a prison, but it's only for kids 18 to, I'm not sure what the age was, like 21, 22, maybe 24. You'd have to look it up. But they didn't send those kids into the big state penitentiaries because it was just filled with all kinds of and hate. And it was very dangerous, And you know what? People always tell me that it was more dangerous than the California Youth Authority. I believe it because it's more dangerous for us as kids going to these places. When you're that young, you don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's why, because you're so much younger. You don't have your concept of like consequences in the long term hasn't really hit you yet. You know what I mean? You're thinking in the moment.
Yeah, but it's not just that, because you're trying to fill the shoes of the people that mentored you. So it's like, you got to make a rap. You got to, your rep matters, man.
Yeah.
You are as strong as your rep is.
Yep.
Prove yourself or back the fuck off.
Yep. Facts.
Yep. That's the way it went down. And you know what, man? Like, I remember the whole thing. It was definitely on par, if not worse, than the living conditions in Jamaica. And that's saying a lot. And my mom, as fucked up as she may be, she thought I was going to be sent to the California Youth Authority. One of the therapists that we were seeing said she needed to give up custody of me and send me to the California Youth Authority. And my mom thought that I was either going to kill someone or get killed myself. And so next thing I know, boom. Yeah.
And that's when you went to Casabythesea? Is that?
No, that's when I went to military school.
Okay, the second time?
I only went once.
Okay, so So this is before you went to the military school. Okay.
Yeah. No. I got out of the military school, and then I stole that skateboard from my brother John, and then I went, and then after that, shortly after, I'd say in less than half a year, then I was kidnapped, taken across the state lines to Mexico.
Okay.
So after I got out of military school, that's when I stole the skateboard. And, it didn't do anything besides embellish my reputation at the time. Because you got to remember, when it's halfway through the year and a new kid comes in like me from military school, shit, man, I was living on water.
Yeah.
It was awesome for me.
Yeah.
And so I thought I was like the top of the guy. So yeah, I stole the fucking skateboard from the principal's office, and all it did was make people like me even more.
Yeah.
That's, you know what? You would have think like I was thinking like John's gonna whip my ass. No, man, I became best friends with him after. He thought it was hilarious. You know what I mean? I remember
totally.
I used to go to his house every week. He used to live in Yorba Linda. And my other best friend from childhood, Daniel Roshan, he's from Montebello, and his aunt is a fucking millionaire We used to go there. It was the craziest time ever. The funnest shit ever.
Nice.
You walk out the back door and you're at the fucking ocean.
Nice.
He used to bring all of his friends there, man, just to show it off. And he should, man. I would have done it if I had that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, as much as I am not talking to my mom right now, I do want to say one thing about her. She was that mom. And this is why a lot of people don't like my mom, is because she was that mom that let me and my friends in junior high come to the house, drink and party. We had a jacuzzi and a fire pit. We had a fucking grand time, dude. My mom helped me clean my bones. And she wants to fucking send me away and shit. No, fuck that. No. My house was the kick it spot, dude.
Yeah, same with mine.
Yeah.
During high school.
Yeah. Yeah, mine was in junior high, and at the time we all had rollerblades and hockey equipment. And so we would rollerblade around all Brea, California. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that city.
Yep.
Yeah, and we would rollerblade around all day and play hockey. And the street signs were the goal. I mean, we played with a ball instead of a puck because it was on the street. But I mean, it was fun, man. And we got kicked out of everywhere. I mean, yeah. But yeah. So
Okay. So you stole the skateboard, and then that period in between getting sent to Casa by the Sea, did you know that you were going to go to Casa? Was it a surprise? How did that whole thing end up happening? Like, how did the transport happen and all of that?
all right. So if you want to do more of an interview about my ninth grade and high school, we can. But let's just skip to this part.
Well, I mean, if there's more to that, then we can talk about that. I was just
important. It's not important because at this point, I'm pretty sure people got the picture.
okay. Okay.
If people have questions, go ahead and ask me. If people want more stories, let's do it. I mean, we sit all day, but let's just get to how I got sent to Casa.
Okay. As long as you're okay with it,
Yeah,
and that's all that matters.
so I was actually attending church, the Harvest Church, and all my homies were there. Troy McConnell, Scott Freebag, his twin Steve. I mean, we were like protecting each other from the drugs and violence, pretty much.
That's cool.
We were trying not to get into it, man.
Yeah.
So that's what's so fucked up about this whole thing. Is I wasn't getting in trouble at that level. Was I getting suspended from school? Yeah. But I'm pretty sure that's just called being a teenager.
Yep.
Did I get arrested one time for a petty theft? Yeah. Is that the worst thing of all time? Fuck no. Bullshit.
Yep.
Oh, let me guess. Well, Ryan, you were talking back. Okay. But Ryan, you were arguing with me. Okay. Now, before I tell you this part, I'm going to take a fucking drink to this bullshit.
No problem.
Bro, I wake up. I have a book report due. Okay. And I'm fucking, my mom woke me up and I was like, she's never woken me up before. She was like, hey, honey, I love you so much. I just want you to know how much I love you. I'm like, okay, mom, back the fuck up. She's like, hello, Ryan, come here. Let me come here, give me a hug, Ryan. Give your mother a hug. I love you, sweetheart. Man, I'm fucking reading a book, How to Kill a Mockingbird or some shit. And I get into my stepdad's vehicle and we leave the house and we park at his workplace. He owned an auto repair shop called Brea Auto Repair. I'm fucking sitting there in the truck reading my book so I could do my you know, book report, and the fucking door opens and these guys, they just grab me and start fuck. completely trying to yank me out of the truck. I had my seatbelt on, dude. They took a fucking knife out of their pocket, cut the seatbelt, took my arms, and just smashed at first into the concrete. For what?
Yeah, you
For
weren't
what?
even resisting.
I was resisting.
No, you weren't even resisting, is what I said.
Dude, they were huge.
Yeah. They
They
just
were
did that right off the bat.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
They handcuffed me, they gagged me, and they put a fucking like a pillowcase type thing over my head. Like I was a fucking terrorist. For what? Because I was talking back. Fuck you. Fuck you. Dude, I'm never going to change my opinion, man. Especially after this podcast, bringing all this shit right back up and having to relive it. Dude, my mom was a fucking piece of shit. You know, all the good that she did was awesome, but it will never be remembered because the bad shit overshadows it. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Don't get me
Totally.
wrong. My mom helped me pay for my bills. I mean, she definitely helped me, but I fucking went to Alabama, packed up her house, her vacation house, and saved her like $100,000 because there was mold growing. And at the time, me and TJ owned a landscaping company. I went to California and packed up her house. She lives here in Idaho with me, and she refuses to have anything to do with me at all.
Wow.
And the reason is because she's embarrassed. She had over the deed to my house and said, Ryan, as long as you don't do anything stupid, I'll take care of you. Then she went on a 3-week cruise and spent a ton of money, got back and said, fuck, here's your money back. And then that's when she found out about the documentaries. I didn't even know that it was about the documentaries until one of my cousins told me.
Wow.
And so if that can happen to me and my mom, don't get me wrong, man, she did a lot for me.
Yeah.
She also fucked me up. It's overshadowing. Do you agree?
No, I totally agree.
Yeah. She could have done a lot of stuff for me. She did. But she should get in trouble for trafficking because she paid to have it done.
Yep.
And you know what? Not just human trafficking, man. Human trafficking of a minor.
Yep.
And I'm not calling it sex trafficking.
No.
And I'm not, dude, no, it's human trafficking of a minor. If you pay for someone to get kidnapped and handcuffed, gagged, and a fucking pillowcase over your head, that's fucking human trafficking of a minor.
Yeah, trafficking, it doesn't always have to be sexual, and a lot of people have it in their head that trafficking it's instantly means sexual, and it really doesn't. Trafficking takes many different forms.
I'm glad you mentioned that, man, because that's it. And you know what? When they pay to have it done, that should be a fucking crime.
It is a crime.
Dude,
It was a crime.
I don't know everything yet. I'm going to figure it out, Jordan. But from what I'm hearing, it's still going on.
Oh yeah, it's fucking booming now more than ever. Now the government's paying. The government's paying.
I heard about that. That should be a fucking
They're
crime, dude.
subsidizing it.
Yeah, I know. I heard, man, all about
they're
it.
complicit.
Your friend really got me up to speed. I don't know how to say her name all the time, but it's Carrie, Kari. She's pretty smart doing, man. But I believe it's going on. I can't believe that the government is subsidizing it. That's a fucking crime. You know what? People should be suing.
No, people have tried. It's just these people have too much money and too much pull, so it never really makes it that far. I mean, some people have made some progress.
Well, let me tell you something, Jordan. Now you have people like me and Shaquan Daly and Silas, and Zimmerman, all these people. You have to remember something. I'm on my last and dying leg.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm okay if it comes down to it. I already have one sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might as well tell you about that right now. They made a charity in my name. It's called Ryan's Gift.
Nice.
When I sold my house, I was just like fucking around, and these guys ship me and give me low balls. They gave me what I wanted, and so I gave him like a really nice fancy watch. And he mentioned his daughter was in Boise State to be a in finance. So I gave him a fancy finance calculator. And then when the notary guy came to sign off on the house, I gave him a nice cross pin. And so they were, oh, I gave him these cufflinks with black diamonds in them. Because what am I going to do? I'm never going to wear a suit again. And so they charity in my name called Ryan's Gift. And they're going to fund me to fucking fight this. I don't know how much yet. It's all depending on this interview, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Depending on how this interview goes, he'll decide whether or not he wants to even take this on. But I mean, I know he's no joke. I trust him. But where did we leave off at?
Oh, we were talking about how people need to.
Yeah, man. So on the way to Mexico, they were like, we're going to stop at the gas station. We need to uncuff you. I'm like, okay, what's going on? They're like, it's for your own protection because your parents said that you could be violent, and you're going to a school where they're surfing, and you're going to meet so many girls and just a load of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I went to the gas station, didn't make a damn a ruckus because it's like, hey, I want to go meet girls and go surfing. As soon as we got back into the vehicle, back to the handcuffs. It's like, I just walked into the fucking grocery store and didn't start any problems. Why the fuck you gotta handcuff me again? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At that point, like, what the fuck? And then they're like, you know what, Ryan? Your parents are wrong. You're not violent. Here, we're gonna go to In-N-Out Burger. Okay. Uncuff me. Eat In-N-Out Burger. Start driving. This was in San Diego. Start driving. Next thing you know, we're at the border. And they're like, yeah, you're so lucky, man. This is going to be the most exotic place you've ever been. How do you like that double and fry? I'm like, dude, it's awesome. Like, oh yeah, man. You want the rest of my chocolate shake? I'm like, fuck yeah, man. Cross the border. I'll never forget that motherfucker took the chocolate shake out of my hand.
The second you cross the border, huh? The second you cross the border. Yep.
Over to the side of the road, turned around, took the chocolate shake out of my hand, and at In-N-Out, they had these boxes. And they would put your food in the box.
Yeah.
And I was eating my French fry, and when he grabbed the chocolate shake, he was like, hey, let me see that box. Fucking chucks it out the window, gets out of the car, tells me I need to fucking get out of the vehicle and put my hands behind my back. Handcuffed again. Short while after, I ended at Casabythesea.
Okay. What do you remember about? Go ahead.
Wait a minute, man.
Yeah.
How that is not resonating in people's minds blows my mind. How could people know that it's going on, but it's still happening?
Yeah.
How?
I think a big part of it is just a lot of people they're in denial. They're in flat out denial. They just don't want to admit that they don't want to accept the fact that that could happen in this country, even though it's not just happening in this country. This is a worldwide global problem. If you think it's bad here, I guarantee it's twice as bad, if not 3 times as bad in another third world country. Like, you know what I mean? So,
Dude, so if Netflix can fund the program, why aren't they doing one about the boys? The men?
yeah.
Why? Are they scared? They weren't scared to make that fucking documentary. I'm sure they got a ton of backlash from that one. Why can't they make one from our point of view as men? Because I'm pretty sure our point of view is way worse.
Yeah. There's, I agree. Well, I don't want to compare stuff, but I definitely agree that, you know, men do have a story to tell, and that there is a lot of abuse to men that happens that's never reported on because they're men.
It's not just that, man, but the men are the ones that started the riots and shit.
Yeah.
It was, and you're right. It's not fair to compare because, you know, I was talking to your friend earlier, Kari, and I told her, I said, you know what? Maybe where I was at, we had it way worse physically, but as when it comes to mentally, I think we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Same brainwashing, same seminars, same bullshit. It's the same. We're on the same page. You can't compare apples to oranges,
Yeah.
right? I mean, did we get it a lot more physical abused? Yeah, we got I guarantee you we got physically abused way more because we didn't give two fucks.
Well, also you're outside of the U.S., so there's not child protection
Yeah.
laws either. You know, they do that on purpose.
You're gonna call Ghostbusters? Who are you gonna call, man?
Yeah.
The Ghostbusters? I mean, go ahead, try to pick up a phone, man. There's no cell phones at this time. I mean,
Yeah.
there are very few in between, right?
Yeah.
What I really do not like about these documentaries is the fact that they pointed out these staff members were not certified or trained in any way.
Yeah.
I mean, to get like certified, but they were trained in ways to torture us.
Yeah.
What? Wait. Say that again. They're trained to torture us, but not trained to fucking deal with us. What? These people are in control of our lives.
Yeah.
These are people that they just grab off the street.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure where you went, but when I went to Mexico, it was all people that barely spoke English. When I went to Jamaica, it was all hardcore Jamaican gangsters, dude.
Yep.
Yep. They had no issue fucking you up, man. They hated Americans.
Yep. I was going to ask you that. I asked everybody that went to schools outside the U.S. if you felt animosity because you were American.
Dude, I never knew until I went, but yeah, nobody likes America.
Yeah.
They think that we're spoiled, entitled rich bitches.
Yeah. Well, a lot of us are, to be fair,
Yeah.
but you know, there's a great portion of people that are very good people, including you and I. And
What? We don't have the right to judge them, but they don't have the fucking right to judge us.
nope.
Yeah. I mean, that's bullshit. And a lot of them, they ended up becoming really close over the years because it was like, Ryan, do you really want to fuck with me tonight? Because I'm going to fuck you up. I'm like, dude, you do what you have to do. I'll do what I have to do. He's like, what about a spice bun? How about I give you a spice bun? You know what, Ryan? There's a book that I was able to get a hold of. You want a book? And I was like, I'm the most special person of all time because I got a book. Yeah. I mean, you thought you were the coolest kid on the block, man. You had a book.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Casabythesea. I mean, I have a journal with the first and last names of most people that I was in families with. Um, I was part of a real big thing that happened. There was a guy named Matt, and his last name's in my journal, but he escaped. We talked about this earlier. Um, my days at military school taught me how to build ropes. Um, and there was a guy that was a level 3 named Ray, and I have his name in my yearbooks, but he had no idea what was going on, man. Nobody had any idea what was going on besides me, Matt, and this other guy named Tony. And it took us like 2 weeks to unscrew the windows. They were screwed in, remember? Or I don't know if you were.
Yeah.
The windows are screwed in, but we unscrewed all of them, and
And we waited, and when he got up to escape, we filled his bed in with blankets and everything because every walked in, they'd come in with flashlights.
Yep. Night watch.
Yeah. And I didn't sleep all night. I woke up to, where the fuck is Matt? The guards, the staff members, where the fuck is Matt? Where the fuck is Matt? I'm like, I don't fucking know, man. Everyone in our room, because there was 4 beds in one room, two different bunk beds, and it was on tile. Right?
Mm-hmm.
This motherfucker somehow scaled the back wall behind the sandbox that people played volleyball in. This motherfucker scaled the wall, and all they found was sheets tied together on the other end.
Wow.
Yeah, man. And like, I called a number. He gave me his parents' landline number. When I got it, I called it, and his dad, I talked to him, and he was like, "Yeah, who are you?" And I was like, "I'm Ryan, man. I was in Casa by the Sea with your son, Matt." And he was like, "Is he alive?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, 20 years ago, he called me and said that he was hours away from getting his ego." And I called Casa by the Sea and told him that where he was at that current moment, he was getting ready to pass the border on foot. I've never heard from my son ever again.
So we don't know if he's alive. We don't know if we don't. Interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be one thing I'm going to focus on.
Okay.
It's important. It's important to me.
Yeah. No, I can understand why.
Dad too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like somebody sent me a website with my name on it that says Casa by the Sea if you want your records. And my name's on there. Ryan Man. Have you heard about that?
What website was this? What?
It's important to me, man. I want to find this kid, dude.
Well, any information you have, I can insert information at the end or the start of this video, and just any like last known location. If you have a picture of him, if you know what he looks like, we can.
Can you see my? How do I share my screen with you?
I'm not sure you can do that on Skype.
It says love and support. Oh wait, hold on. Oh fuck. Damn.
Yeah, right now the screen is frozen.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at the text messages. It says
Okay.
Casa by the Sea Records. And then I'm number 1,453.
Okay, so these people are just asking if you want your records.
Yeah.
I mean, I would get them. And are they asking you to pay for them? Are you?
No, I don't know yet because I've been so overwhelmed with all of this that I'm just doing it one thing at a time.
Okay, yeah, that's the best way to do it. Take it easy, take it slow.
I wanted to hit the ground running, but I fucking noticed that it's gonna be harder than I thought. It's gonna be a lot harder than I thought, and I think that I never imagined it would be like this. You would think that people would read everything and watch the documentaries, and this shit would go smoothly. So the fact that it's not means that I'm gonna figure out the hard way what roadblocks that I'm gonna have to entail. Sounds like a lot more than I was prepared for. Tell me.
No, yeah, that's why I do this podcast. Do whatever I can to get the word out about these places.
Well, hey, we all appreciate it, my man. You know what? You're paving the way for people that are going to be hungry to tackle this issue, but they're going to soon find out it's not as easy as you think.
No, it's not.
Yeah. But I mean, it sounds like you've been doing a really good job. I think that now that you guys have figured out that people like me and Shaquan and Silas and Zimmerman and all these people are now coming together. I think that you and people like Carrie are the best way for us to be heard.
Yeah.
It would be easy for me to get everyone plane tickets to go to Jamaica because we know the secret entrances. We know how to get in undetected. And what are we going to do? Go in there and just powerhouse the whole thing until we get arrested? And then who's going to fucking bail us out? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
No.
just not that realistic. But if that's what I have to do before I die, I give you my word, that's what I'm going to do.
Allegedly.
Huh?
Allegedly.
What does that mean?
I'm just saying allegedly for like legal
Oh.
reasons. Like, you know what I mean? Allegedly.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Allegedly. That's right.
Yeah. This is all hearsay. It could be complete bullshit. You know what I mean? Just allegedly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you know what? The people that went there with me that started the riots and escaped, they're all like so passionate about this. They've been researching this for over 10 years, and I just didn't know because no one hit me up. How could they hit me up when I'm locked up? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, no,
And
for sure.
I wasn't locked up forever, my man. I got out and went to college and got 2 degrees from Boise State.
Nice. Good job,
Yeah.
man.
I have a letter of recommendation letter from every single professor, and I almost got straight A's. I made the dean's list and I think I got a handful of B's and maybe 1 C, and that's it.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I haven't been locked up my whole life, man. I mean, I did something with my life. I wish I would have done a lot more, but it is what it is. I mean, at least I got an opportunity to own a house, and at least have money to blow this next year of my life before I die, because I'm not sure how it's going to end. But if I'm still alive next year, January 1st, 2026, I'm going to move to Oregon, and I'm pretty sure you know what that means.
Yeah.
That's a right to die state.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yep.
going to pain for the rest of my life, man. I've lived with enough pain.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you.
The only reason why I'm in the hospital is because this motherfucker keeps suing me. This time, he's suing me saying that after he only knew me for 22 days, that he prepaid rent for 6 months in cash. No
Yeah.
bank statements, no fucking receipt, nothing. And are they dragging my ass to court? Yeah. Am I going to make the biggest fucking deal about it? Oh, you should see the last time I went, man. It was hilarious. It was funny, man. He's like, Ryan, do you feel comfortable leaving with him? I'm like, me? I'm an adult. Him? He could fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
Man, you're going to watch your language. Do you understand me? Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Do you? Because if you do it again, we're going to have some serious problems. So I want to make sure that you fully understand. Do you understand, Mr. Man? Yes, Your Honor, I understand. I mean, it's going to be epic. And we're planning on going and getting, we haven't even gotten close to the end of my story, but we're planning on going and getting everything. They save everything. You know that, right?
Well, you know, go get that shit then, you know?
Every single time I went to jail, it's all saved there. So that's why, we're going to use it to start the podcast, because me and the person I'm doing it with, we know a lot of people.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you something. Shit. Oh, he made a whole bunch of logos up yesterday, but they're all about me and not with him. But I want to use this logo and take out the landscaping part. His name's TJ Harder. My name's Ryan Mann. All heart and man.
Nice.
The lawn care part, because we have so many shirts, hats, and fucking everything. Ton of marketing equipment. We're
Nice.
just gonna take that out, and we want to make a difference. That's what our goal is. Our goal is not to make money.
Yeah. Well,
goal is to bring awareness to the
you
that are
shouldn't be
still,
in it. You shouldn't be in this to make money. You
yeah.
know,
If
donations are fine. Donations are fine, but I'm not asking people for, they're doing it because they want to.
yeah, this is the wrong thing to do if you're in for the money. This is about the kids. And people are like, Ryan, why do you take this so passionate? It's because, like, I remember feeling so trapped. I wrote suicide letters to my whole family and friends. I never thought I was going to make it out alive.
Yeah, me neither.
People don't realize what that feels like. It's like you're suffocating, man. It's like, I'm never going to get out of here. How am I going to get out of here? The doors are locked.
Yeah.
If I look out the window, they beat my ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, totally. So what do you remember about when you first got to Casa by the Sea? Do you remember them buddying you up with somebody to show you the rules?
Yeah. I have his name in my journals. He was, yeah. It was a level 4. And I remember sitting, when you were at Casa by the Sea, you would walk into the building and it was just like a hall, not a hallway, but like just like a straight shot. And
Corridor?
there was bunk beds everywhere.
Yeah.
And they just like continued. And you were allowed to have your toiletry. You know, if your parents didn't send you with a blanket and a pillow, they would give you one, but it sucked. So like you hope that your mom sent you with a blanket and a pillow, right? Um, and toiletry. And man, it was horrible, man. People were screaming in their sleep all the time. And then you could hear the people getting restrained up top and on the next floor. That was me most of the time. If I was in worksheets, I was in OP, man. Do people know what OP stands for? Do I need to use the term staff watch?
So observational placement, isolation, solitary confinement. It's the same
Yeah,
thing. Yep.
yeah. And there's a difference between the two because at Casa by the Sea, they would make you sit Indian style on tile.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. There is minute changes like that, how they make you sit and whatnot. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, they would make you sit down Indian style, put your hands on your knees, straight back, and face the wall. Move and watch what happens, motherfuckers. I mean, they weren't playing around, man. I mean, like I said, they weren't into the whole torture thing, man. They were into the more, I will fucking beat your ass thing.
Yeah.
And they would throw your ass so hard into this concrete wall. It was something. And they would feed you beans, rice, and red every day. They would starve you. The lights never went off. You didn't get to go to sleep. You had to sit Indian style all night. And then they were like, all right, Ryan, lay on your face on the concrete and you keep your hands behind your back and cross. But if you uncross your feet or let go of your hands, we're gonna pounce on you. And they did. And I remember sometimes I was so defiant, I would just be like, fuck this bullshit. Smack my hands down on the tile, stand up and be like, I don't fucking care. Let's do this. His name was Mr. Munoz. Oh, that motherfucker. Oh, man. I wish we could find him. He's one tall, evil person. He's just an evil person.
Yeah, for sure.
He would outweigh all of us like 3-1. He didn't give a fuck if we got hurt.
Do you feel like the staff got off on hurting the kids?
No, I don't.
No.
No. I mean, do people think that? I do think that in Jamaica, there were definitely some questionable staff members, but I'm not gonna tarnish people's names unless I do it person by person.
Yeah. No, totally.
Because not all of them were bad.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
Yeah. Some
Okay.
of them, some of them, it was a paycheck. some of them were really cool, and some of them were just like complete evil.
Yeah.
You're right, man. Like when you say they got off on it, they did. But I don't want to label all of them the same because that's not how it really went down.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. How long after you got to Casa by the Sea did they put you through your first seminar?
Well, let me tell you about when I first got to Casa by the Sea.
Okay.
When I got there, they made me strip search. Made me bend over, grab my ankles, and cough. They gave me a set of clothes and said that I was level 1 and that I couldn't get consequences for 2 weeks, and they were going to sign me a buddy. And they did. And, you know, I remember sitting on the bunks in that place I told you where it's just bunk beds all the way down. And he was like, hey, man, do not talk about escaping. I'm like, fuck this place, man. Fuck this bullshit. How the fuck do we get out of here? He's like, dude, if you talk about that again, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. I don't have a choice. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? He's like, do not say the word escape. Please, man, I'm begging you. And I was like, oh, fuck, what the hell? Where the fuck am I at, man?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, man. And then it just all began. I mean, I never got past level 2. They made me level 3 for like less than a week, I think, so that I could make a phone call to my mom because she was like, "What the fuck, man?" I forget what they called it, but it was like a provisional level 3. Like
A level 3 experience.
Yeah, it's like a trap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I asked my mom, like, "Why the fuck am I still here?" And they hung the phone up on me, man.
Yeah.
I was like, no, you gotta be fucking kidding me, man. Fucking 9 months, first phone call. I only got 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, at Casa by the Sea, I will give them, like, they don't deserve any credit. I just want to be clear about that. But another, like, you asked me what's the difference between the two. At Casa by the Sea, you could watch a movie. You got to watch a movie on Sunday. Oh no, you didn't. You got to watch a movie on Christmas, Thanksgiving. Yeah, those are like the best times of all time. And I'm pretty sure there's like another couple of holidays, but on the big holidays, you got to watch a movie, and they would take pictures and use it for marketing.
Of course.
Yeah, and and like both places, they both allowed your parents to send you candy and like pretty much the same thing as commissary, like packages.
When you got to a certain level, right?
No, yeah, absolutely. You could not be on level 1.
Yeah.
But no matter what, everyone got to level 2 before these days because your parents would send you these huge packages full of all kinds of candy and socks, like all kinds of cool shit. And it was like the best thing on earth. And like when it was time to go to bed and shit, or like when you were done with group, they only gave you the candy and food during group after the holiday.
Wow.
You would get to group and you could go and get your stuff and eat during group. It was definitely a way to mind control you big time.
Yep.
Huge. Yeah. It tried to incentivize you to get to level 2 along with candy bars like a couple of times a week. I mean, if it wasn't the holidays, a couple of times a week, I think if you were level 2 and up, you would be able to get a candy bar.
Yep.
And so that incentivized everyone. But I mean, you have to remember something. It's completely different where I was at compared to the documentary about Ivy.
Yep.
Yeah, because in both places, if you got 10 consequences, that's an automatic category 2.
Yep.
Every 10 consequences. So if you got 10 consequences in 1 week and you got a category 2, guess where your ass is headed? Workshops.
Yep.
Do you remember workshops?
Yep. I remember that.
Fucking, you could barely have your ass on the bench, and there were fucking wooden benches like a church.
Yep.
And you would sit on them, and if it was like more than an inch, another hour added to your time. You had to have your feet completely together, your knees completely together, with your hands on your knees, sitting on the pew, and they would play these tapes like Mark Twain, or like just like
self-improvement, quote unquote.
Oh man, before I forget, when we go to the cafeteria, we were not allowed to talk. We had to listen to Tony Robbins 24/7, man.
Yep.
It was Tony Robbins playing.
Yeah, if that's not brainwashing, I don't know what the fuck is.
Oh man, get the fuck out of here, man. It's all brainwashing. All of it. It's all just like pieces to a puzzle. It's like, how is that not clear to people? It's gotta be, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it should be.
Yeah. So you would do the workshops, and usually when you went to workshops, it was like either 1 or 2 hours at a time, because you can go there for more than 1 hour.
Yeah, you could be there for a whole day.
Yeah.
You could be there a whole day. Yeah.
3 consequence and above, that means you had to do an hour in OP, or staff watch.
Yep.
So like, I remember one year during Christmas, this fucking guard, man, and I remember him, and someone's gonna tell me his name. He had this cliff. What do they call it on your lip when there's a scar?
Oh, a cleft lip.
He had a cleft lip, and so someone's gonna know who I'm talking about. This motherfucker told me to go clean the bathrooms when the movie came on, because I just got out of OP for telling him to go fuck his wife and his mother, suck my dick, blah blah blah. Right when I got a staff watch, he immediately told me, you need to go clean the bathrooms when the movie started.
Of course.
Yeah, I guess where I was headed right after that. Straight back to OP, man.
Yep.
Fuck you. You ain't gonna fucking do that shit to me, motherfucker. And what's really important about that story is that was at the time where they gave me that provisional level 3. I was a provisional level 3 when I got out of staff watch. They're like, hey, Ryan, listen, you going to staff watch is not working. And my rep was Olivia. It was Olivia. And I have pictures too of I have pictures of them, my family reps. But they had just given me level 3 provisional. And I went down from staff watch like, oh yeah, man, I'm level 3. And then the guy's like, you have to clean the bathroom. And I was just like, what the fuck, man? Are you kidding me? Okay, man, here we go again. I remember I took the fucking mop. And at the time, there was a mirror that the parents came and they could watch you through this mirror.
Two-way mirror.
And you probably never heard that, huh?
I think I've heard it in passing. I haven't heard anybody say it yet.
Oh, dude, it's huge. And anyone that went there will tell you it's the truth. It was right outside the bathroom. There was a two-way mirror. And, man, I remember taking the fucking mop and putting my foot on it and just pressing down till it broke. And then I down on Cliff Lip motherfucker. He was a fucking asshole, man. He was a fucking dick. When you say did people get off on it, that's one of the people that got off on it. That's one of the people, man. Straight evil. You know, man, when you say he got off on it, that's like not even half as much as like we really mean it. They really got off on it, some of them. Someone's going to tell me his name. Yeah. But anyway, after I got to Casa, I mean, I did a whole bunch of things that were epic, but I'm pretty sure people get the message by now. It got to the point where they were like keeping me in OP for a long amounts of time. And then they were like, you're either going to Samoa or Somalia, or you're going to Jamaica. But keep fucking around and you're gonna be sent there. I was watching people get sent there left and right anyway. And at one point, one of my good friends got sent there. His name was Zach, I think. And so I was like, fuck it, send me. And I woke up one day, they brought me into this room and threw down this duffel bag with clothes for me to put on. And I opened the door, and my mom, my stepdad, and my brother, they hired a fucking Marine, And they're like, you got kicked out of here. You obviously never want to come home. All you want for you to do is to follow the program, right? If you follow the program, let us show you what your life would be like. They took me to Universal Studios. I got to stay in a hotel. But that Marine, he was like tied to my hip. I wasn't allowed out of his sight. I was so stupid. I fucking willingly got on a plane, but the Marine, he was standing right next to me, so I figured, like, fuck, what choice do I have? And I went to Jamaica. Do you want me to read you the poem that I wrote when I first?
Yeah.
Can't make this shit up, homie.
You wrote this when you first got there or when you were on your way?
Dude, I wrote 2, man. I'm going to look it up right now. Let's see. Shit, what day did I say I got there? What day was it?
I don't think you said what day you got to Jamaica.
Hey, you asked me what time I got there and stuff. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to find it.
I thought that was Casa.
No, both.
Okay.
One of them was Casa. The other one was Tranquility Bay. But, like, I really want to find this, man. Do you remember what dates I told you? Oh, I found it, bro. Joe, check this out, homie. You ready for this, man? I want everyone to hear this. March 18th, 2003. Just got to fucking Jamaica. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
When things are going good, something happens. People and things start to vanish. I have some experience with this. The other day, I saw my family leave with a kiss. Earlier that same day, everything was going to be okay. First time in a long time I had as a smile on my face because God shone his light on me and showed me his grace. It was one simple thing that made me happy, spending just one damn day with my family. There isn't much more that I would ask for. It's something everyone can afford. Just to be with my family is enough. Why do they have to make it my life so tough? Sending me so far away from home, making me spend my days all alone. Don't they understand anything about me? I'm getting worse being away from my family. What do I need to do to make them see? Graduating this place isn't the key. but they'll probably never see my way. So I'll just keep doing what they say. Because the other day something good happened, but when things were starting to go good, my family vanished.
That's a good poem. Well, not a good poem, but it's
Sure.
I feel it.
Yeah, yeah, man. My whole journals are riddled with fucking lyrics, man. You want me to fucking change my mood real quick? You want me to show you something that I wrote while I was in there?
Sure.
I was in solitary for a long time, man, and no one was coming to help me. Um, Nobody was coming to help me. So part of my voice, man, I'm getting over being sick, but it goes like this. I ain't got no friends and I don't care. Don't take it for granted. You better beware. I'm still a hazard to your health. I got all that I need. I throw a hard enough punch to make the best of them bleed. I ain't got no friends.
Nice.
And then it goes like this. I'm God's gift to mankind, but I'm friends with the devil. I play both sides. That's why I'll be remembered forever. You better remember you ain't ready to battle me. I've survived, surrounded by nothing but enemies. Your heart pumps and beats. My heart steadily bleeds. Can't have a heart because that's where your enemy feeds. I mean, I've been ducking, trying to be out of the spotlight for so long, but my artistic ability is about to come out. It's been long enough.
Nice.
You know,
Nice.
just there's consequences in life. If you choose to live your life with really good ethics and values, there's rewards.
Yeah.
You know, we don't do this life. We don't live this life because we don't think there's a light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you think people like me do it? Because we've seen people do it and be successful. A
Yeah.
very small percentage, so we know what we're getting into when we started. But it's possible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen it with your own eyes, I mean, is it an easy road to take? Fuck no, dude. If I could go back and go in the military, I would have.
Yeah. Might as well.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Chapter two. Oh shit.
It's fine. You're back.
No, it's all right. But anyway, let's continue with the story, I guess. Shit, there's so many stories, man. Uh, well, anyway, so I got to Jamaica, and right away it was just like war, because when you get there and you're from a place like Casa by the Sea and you've been beat up and restrained so many times, now you're not 15 anymore. Now you're 16, 16 and a half. You're faster, stronger. You don't give two fucks.
Yeah.
And you show up in a place like Tranquility Bay and you go in there with the mentality like, don't fuck with me. And they didn't like that.
Yeah.
It would be, dude, I have a fake retainer in my mouth. I'll show you, but when I got there, these white supremacists, they wanted me to join their gang. And I'm like, what gang? And they're like, we're Bloods. I'm like, you're not Bloods. I know Bloods, motherfucker. You ain't no Bloods.
Yeah.
And in the morning, you had chores. Somebody had the bathroom, somebody mopped, somebody swept, the chores in the morning. Well, I went in to clean the bathrooms, and these two motherfuckers came in with bars of soap and socks and just whipped my ass. They took me to a Jamaican doctor. No pain meds, nothing. They cut me open with a fucking scalpel on my nipple right here. And if you Google me, Ryan Man, Tranquility Bay, Jamaica, I'm still on there. And people are like, dude, I remember when they twisted your nipples so bad that blah, 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 blah. Dude, it wasn't that they twisted my nipple. It's that they hit me in a place that just like made this huge like bump, you
Yeah.
know? and they had to cut it open, and tons of pus came out. I don't know what they called it, man. It was like a cyst or something.
Okay.
But it's in my journals too. And you know what else I find a little ironic is that people keep fact checking me.
They keep what?
Fact checking me.
That's stupid.
Yeah, what the fuck? I thought we're on the same page right here. Same team, buddy. The fuck's your man?
Yeah, there is a portion of the survivor community, unfortunately, that thinks they have the authority to dictate, like, for example, I had a worse experience than you, so I fucking deserve like more recognition, or you had or little nitpicky shit that's really nobody's business. It doesn't fucking like, even if, and I'm not saying this about you or anybody, but I'm saying even if somebody was lying about their experience, it's none of your goddamn business. Okay? And it's none of your goddamn business to sit there.
Wait, Jordan. If people are lying, that's why people are fact checking me, because people shouldn't be going out there and talking shit that they have no business talking about.
Well, yeah, true. But also they shouldn't be fact checking anybody like that anyways, because it's your experience. You know what I mean? Like, you weren't there unless you were. Even if you were there, you're not you. They're not you. So they don't know how that felt for you. They don't know how you experienced it. They don't know any of that. So they have no authority. You know what I mean?
Everyone has a different experience, my man. Everyone.
Yeah.
No two experiences are the same.
Yeah, two people can go through the same boarding school and have a completely different experience.
And I like how you call it a boarding school, man. It's a behavior modification.
Well, that's what they label it as, That's what they market it as. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the way that we should refer it, because it's not a fucking school, man. It's a fucking prison.
Yeah.
When they lock the doors and you can't walk outside, I'm sorry. That's the definition of incarceration.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man. So, that's kind of the same thing that's happened to me right now. Same thing that happened to me when I first got to Jamaica. It's like, don't fuck with me. And they don't like it. And you have to earn your stripes. And it's ridiculous on what you have to do. I mean, yeah. And you know what? Like, I was really blessed because one of my best friends, I talked to him this morning. His name's Shaquan Daly.
Is that the one you sent the message? Is that the one you're trying to get to do an interview on here with me?
No, both want to do it.
Okay.
Silas and Shaquan. But Silas escaped with me, and Shaquan escaped the other way. Everything during the riots was just a distraction for us to escape. We didn't get very far. I mean, me and Silas got farther than him, but Shaquan was the Mike Tyson of the facility. I'll tell you a couple of stories about me and Shaquan. I remember one time after they jumped me with the bars in their socks and I got back, it was time to go out to the basketball courts for the hour. Juan put his arms behind his back and was going like this, like Mike Tyson, man, left to right, with his hands behind his back. And then he just unloaded, man. And I went with him. And we just, man, it was absolutely insane. I'll go over like the top stories for you. That was it took Mr. Archer. He fucking tortured me on that basketball court. Yeah, Shaquan, he was dangerous, man. He was a dangerous person. Damn, I remember one time, like, I was on my way up to staff watch, and we're right at the cafeteria, and I just bolted, and I ran through the fence onto the basketball court while all the girls were playing basketball, and I was zigzagging through them, and I was looking for this girl named Sabrina. I'm looking for her, by the way. If you know anyone named Sabrina from Tranquility Bay, I know she had a kid, but she's all in my journals as Tinkerbell. But I found her, and I met her in a seminar. And so I got right behind her and I whispered in her ear, classroom number 1, far desk up front to the left, very left-hand corner, bottom left-hand corner, look underneath the desk. And that's how we started spreading notes.
Nice.
Started spreading notes with the girls. We would meet them in the seminars, and then me and Sabrina would navigate on who could talk to who, and what was safe, who was dependable, who's not going to tell on everyone. And it was like such a like I can't explain how it felt. It was like we found a way to cheat the system, kind of mentality.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and I remember when her parents came to get her out, they were sitting by the pool, and I was upstairs, and I just bolted out the door, down the stairs, ran and jumped in the pool and said, "I love you, Sabrina." And I just jumped in the pool. And it took like 6 guards to get in the pool to get me out. And they tortured me right in front of Sabrina and her family.
Sorry
Yeah,
to hear that.
it's all right. Man, I was like the king of just, like, if I was like, you know what, I need a break. It's time for me to go to OP and get some spice buns. These guards, they're slacking off, man. They want to be good. They have to pay for it. I remember so many times I would just run and jump in the pool.
Yep, make them work for it. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I just run and jump right into the pool because I knew that I knew that they'd have to come and fucking get me.
Yep. Yep.
I did it during seminars. I did it when people to visit their kids. It was like my ritual, man. Ryan, man, jumping in the pool. Time to go to OP, man. It's time for a vacation.
Yeah.
You know? Have you? Has anyone else ever? Wait, have you ever heard about me? By the way,
Nah, not that I hear about a lot of people though, so I don't. Your name might have come up, but not that I really remember.
did you Google me?
No. Why would I Google you?
I don't know. Just check me out, Ryan Man, Tranquility Bay, Jamaica.
No, I just heard about you. Just the other day when you messaged me.
Man. But I like what you're doing, man. I think you're doing it for the right reasons too, and that means a lot to me.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So let's see, man.
How many seminars did you make it through?
I went to Discovery twice, and I went to Focus. But when I went to Focus, they had given me a provisional level 3 status, and
Because you had to be level 3 to go to Focus, correct?
yeah, and then you had to be level 3 the first parent.
PC1.
Yeah, PC1. I did that as well. I have the pictures from it right here. I got this for you, dude. You want some pictures, man? But anyway, I did it to see my parents. And then tried to send me back to Focus again. And I stood up and was like, "Who the fuck do you think you are?" And we had just walked in there. The girls walked in. I was in there. It was like in a underground part at Tranquility Bay. It was like you had to walk up to get back on feet on land. So it was like underground. And I'm like, "Who the fuck do you think you are?" And I forget what the person's name was, but it's in my journals. And they're like, "Oh, well, you know what? I know your parents, Ryan, and blah, blah, blah. You need to do this for them." And that. I'm like, "Fuck you. You fucking agree with them abusing children? What the fuck is wrong with you? Yo, everyone, you need to listen to me. These fucking people are trying to corrupt your mind. Do not listen to them. Boycott this seminar." And they fucking tortured me in front of everybody. And while I'm on the subject, man, my mom, my stepdad, and my brother flew all the way from Orange County or LA, California, all the way to Jamaica and walked past me while I was screaming. Never looked at me one time. They were there for 3 to 4 days. Never looked at me one time. Never checked out how I was doing. Nothing.
Unbelievable.
one of the main things that pisses me off. She's like, well, they told us if we looked at you, we'd get kicked out. I'm like, oh, but did they tell you that you have to pay for me to be there? I'm pretty sure if you pay, it's a service.
Yeah, that's the stupidest excuse I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, fucking bullshit, dude. And you know what, man? Like, that is such a huge part of how I feel about the whole thing. That right there.
Yeah.
The fact that they could fucking fly all the way there and not take the time to see you for a minute.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah,
more important? What was more important? The seminar or me?
Yeah. No, I feel that totally.
But check this out, man. Here's a couple pictures.
Okay. That's you with your, who is that you're with in the first one?
The first one, that's my, that was the counselor.
Okay.
He took over for Olivia. His name is Guillermo. It's actually right here. Ryan Mann, Wish, Guillermo, Family Rep, Casabythesea, November 2002.
Okay.
To Ryan, with all my love, Mom. A picture of the only picture I have with her and my stepdad. And then here's the picture of some real gangsters from Casabythesea, man. And I've been in touch with them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ironically, there's not one picture of me at Tranquility Bay. I never made it to a seminar where I got to go to the whatever you would call PC1.
Yeah.
I went to Discovery in Jamaica, but like I said, when I went to Focus, I was in staff watch, and they're like, "Hey Ryan, we're gonna make you a level 3, man. You're so lucky, man." And I just remember going into there and seeing all the girls and the guys, and at this time, my reputation was, Ryan, man, don't fucking listen to nobody. And so, like, I felt like I owed it to everybody else to be a man of my word. I don't know if that makes sense to you. I owed it to people to be like, I stand by what I've been fighting for. I don't give a fuck if they want to give me a provisional 11-3 and send me to this fucking seminar. Fuck this place. Fuck Tranquility Bay.
Yeah.
And I started to build this reputation up where people were like, damn, man, Ryan, man, like, wow. And not a lot to my face, because you got to remember something. While I'm sitting there getting restrained and going up to OP over and over again, I'm not sitting there like, oh, you know what? Let me take the time to look around at everybody.
Yeah.
So a lot of people that knew me, but I don't know who they are. You know?
Yeah.
I remember a lot of them now. And what I remember most is that I would say 19 out of 20. 19 out of 20 people that I met in there did not deserve to be there.
Yeah. Yep.
Did not deserve to be there. Fucking tragedy.
We could argue that nobody deserved to live there, but I know what you mean. Like the people that like more so what it like the people that were actually criminals or that had committed, like, you know what I mean? Like we're not saying, like, just to clarify for anybody, because there are people that try and nitpick, just to clarify, we're not saying that like some people deserve to be there, but definitely some people like committed crimes or were like actually career criminals before they went there. You know what I mean? So,
and you know what? I would argue that nobody deserved to be there, like you said. But I mean, take my life for example. I got a petty theft, and my parents said I argued with them and talked back. I'm sorry, that does not warrant going to fucking Mexico, man.
No.
Yeah, not even close. But I mean, are there certain kids that I feel like we're going down the wrong path
and needed something?
I still don't believe they deserve to be there. I would rather them go to juvie.
Yeah, like they needed something, but they definitely didn't need that. You know what I mean?
Fucked them up even worse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It just made us worse. I went in there a good. I came out with a PhD. Fuck off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you by chance remember what your stretch was in Focus, where they made you do like the dance, or like some people there was like the silent servant, or
No, it was all a blur to me.
Okay.
I forget who the psychiatrist was at Tranquility Bay, but they had me on lithium.
I was gonna ask you about that. What drugs did they?
Yeah. Yeah. They had me on all kinds of meds, but
was that from the day you got there, or did they gradually put you on
they
meds?
gradually on it.
Okay. Do you remember being like? Of course you were conscious, but do you remember being like aware? Did you feel like you were like under the influence, and like not as like awake and aware when you were there because of the drugs? Do you feel like you were still able to function?
Well, I'll tell you, it's kind of a funny story because I can remember discovery, but I cannot remember focus.
Yeah, see, there's probably a reason for that. You know
I
what I mean?
cannot focus at all. I remember discovery like it was yesterday. I went through it twice. But yeah, I can now remember. I mean, if you told me if I saw something about focus, I definitely would probably remember it. But the whole thing was just like they put me on med and then shoved me in there, even though I was a level 1 the day before.
Were you on any prescription medications growing up, like prior to going there?
You know what, man? I really hope you take notes on this, man. When I was young, they had me on something called Moban. It's illegal. It's called Moban. It's for kids that have ADHD.
Okay. I was on something similar.
And then they switched it to a different drug for ADHD, Adderall.
Adderall, yep. I was on Ritalin, Adderall, Strattera, and Concerta.
Yep. Ritalin, Adderall. But Moban, it had me sitting in my classroom drooling while my face was on the desk. I was just drooling.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very hardcore drug, and I think today it plays a part in my tolerance level for drugs.
Yeah.
It plays a role, right? But yeah, the seminars, they're tool. They can be a tool. However, when you start talking about can that be a tool to our parents? Well, yeah, it can. But was it made to be a tool for your parents, or was it just meant to be there to manipulate them? Because if I can't write to my parents without getting it blacked out, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, it's part of the mind control.
Yeah, it is, man. And there's a reason why they hold the phone over your head. You can't make a phone call if you're going to tell them what's going on.
Yep.
I really hope you ask other people from Casa by the Sea if they remember the two-way mirror, because everyone that went there will remember it. It was a big deal. You're like, are my parents behind that mirror right now? Because they would tell us, like, you know what? Every single time we pass this, someone's parents are in there. Someone's looking at you. Your parents are watching. Okay.
Yeah, always keep you on your toes and paranoid.
Yeah.
What was the worst thing that you experienced, saw, or heard about in both of these places?
I don't know, man. That's a hard one.
It's all good. Take your time.
Has anyone ever told you about the girl that jumped off the third-story building and just
I've heard it, but go ahead and tell.
I don't know the name. That's why I say it's circumstantial.
Yeah. No, the one that swan dived.
Yeah.
Out the window. Yeah.
But it's only circumstantial because I don't know her name.
Yeah. I think her name's been said, but I can't quite recall what it was.
That one was pretty tough, man. I mean,
you were there?
Yeah.
I didn't
see it happen with my own eyes. But yeah, I was there and they locked the place down like tight.
Everybody on silence.
Everyone.
Yep. How long did
Yep.
that go on for?
Not more than 24 hours.
Okay.
It was like that day, that night, and then the next day, it was like back to standing in line. Do not look. Do not pay attention. Do not talk about it. Do not speak about it. And I was just like, how the fuck is this shit going on, man? Like, I'm gonna die. I wrote letters to everybody. I never thought I was gonna get out of there alive. And I think that the whole dynamic of the whole situation changed when everyone heard that someone swan dived off the 3rd floor. I was in staff watch at the time,
Go
and
ahead.
I was in staff watch at the time, and people were like, "Man, this girl nosedive, just swan dives off the 3rd floor." I'm like, how could that be when there's bars? But I mean, enough people were talking about it that I knew like there's got to be some truth behind it.
Yeah.
But when that happened, like everyone just like was on the urge of just giving up. Everyone was just like, enough's enough. Like, fuck it, I give in. And then you saw people fucking making, like, when someone talks about people dying, it changes the whole dynamic of what you're doing. Because what if that was you?
Yeah.
And like when you start to think like that, it's just demoralizing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh well, if it wasn't true, then why were we on lockdown for a whole day?
Yeah. On silence.
They made us all sit in a circle, Indian style, with our hands on our legs, and we didn't even do anything wrong.
Yeah.
No TV. And another thing that they really did to control us is that we haven't got to the riot yet, but on the windows, they were wooden blinds. You could grab the stick and push it up and then close the blinds. Then you could pull it down and it opened up the blinds. And it was fucking hundreds, 100-degree weather plus. They'd cut off your airflow.
Yeah.
Close the doors, don't feed you, make you sweat until you pass out. And if you pass out, they'll just drag your ass out and throw a bucket of water on you.
Yep.
And then guess what? It's time to go all over again. I mean, has anyone ever talked to you about how we did our laundry there?
I've heard somebody mention it, but go ahead.
So they give you 2 buckets. You'd fill it with a hose, and they gave you the other bucket, and you had to take your clothes off. And a lot of people like me, well, let me explain this first. Has anyone ever told you about the shower system?
No, I don't believe so.
All right, so just imagine a horse, like, how there's horse stalls?
Yep.
Imagine 6 horse stalls, maybe 5. At the very end of it, they would hook up this hose, turn it on, and it would go down the whole, like the whole way, and water would come out of these things, and it was just cold water. And it was a stall. That's the only way I can describe it. It was like a horse stall. You would be in there
Yeah.
and you would shower, and a lot of people showered with their clothes on because you only got to be in there for 2 minutes and then you're out.
Yeah.
And then you'd go and you could wash your clothes. You would dip them in Sud like this. And then you would grab your clothes like this. You would dunk them down, and then you'd go like this. They taught you how to do it. The Jamaicans did. And you only had so much time to clean your clothes. And then you would put them in the fucking other bucket that was just water. And wring them and wring them and wring them. And then you only had so much time. Then you had to fucking go to the clothesline and pin your clothes up on the line.
Yeah.
And then the next day, Well, you didn't get to do it every day, but the next time you got to go back, you would just swap out clothes. 2 sets. One to wear, one to wash.
Yep.
No shoes, only sandals. If you got to level 4, you got to wear shoes. But level 1, 2, and 3, sandals. I'm trying to think if there's any other cool stories that are just like out of this world that I want to tell you. I mean, you can't really talk about how many times you went to OP and staff wash when you just fucking basically live there.
Yeah.
You know? Did we see a bunch of crazy shit? Fuck yeah, but let's just get to the nitty gritty, man. The riot. You want to know when it was?
Yeah, go ahead.
I wrote in detail on it, man. The riot. I mean, what kind of stories have you heard about the riot?
I've just heard where was this, Casa by the Sea or Tranquility Bay? Because I've heard about several riots.
Yeah, so the one that I'm going to refer to right now, the riot at Casa by the Sea happened after people like me just kept going to staff watch and just saying fuck you. But the one I'm talking about is Tranquility Bay.
Okay, yeah, I haven't heard about it.
There you go. You see where it says riot?
Yeah.
Yeah. So riot 11703. This is a whole new thing, man. I'm gonna have a drink and smoke a bowl before I go through this one, man. It's gonna be tough for me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks, dude. Anyway, tell me a little bit about yourself while we just take this little break because this is like so overwhelming.
What do you want to know?
Where'd you go? Where'd you end up at?
I went to a place called Spring Creek Lodge Academy in Thompson Falls, Montana, like 30 miles from the nearest town. And I was there 22 months. I spent my first year in between isolation, what we called it the Hobbit, and worksheets. And then finally one day they came in and they were like, you can keep on screwing around or whatnot. We're just going to send you to Jamaica. Your parents have already signed their rights away. We don't even need to tell them. We're just going to ship you. And they're like, you think things are bad here? They'll just break your leg when you don't listen there. So have fun with that. They're like, you can keep on acting up or and we're going to send you there. So essentially they broke me with that. And they scared the shit out of me. So I started to work my program. And then I was there a total 22 months. But after that, I started to work my program, however that looked like. And ended up graduating, ended up being the last person to graduate from there before it got shut down, which is kind of crazy. But
I'll tell you something. The people that cried the most in Jamaica were the people that got actually at Casa by the Sea too. Were the people that came from Spring Creek and Ivy Ridge.
Yeah.
When they got to Casa or they got to Tranquility Bay, they were just like, what the fuck? They fucking were so scared. It's just a completely different, like, the policies, the rules, like, it was just like, these kids, man, when they got there, they were like scared shitless. They worked the program. They were, yeah, they did not, like, they were fed so many lies before they even got there that by the time they got there, they were just like silent, like, I'm gonna follow the rules.
Yeah.
I don't want, like I said, I don't want to get my leg broken. Like that's what they were telling us. Like, yeah, I came from Spring Creek, man. We heard that, if we don't fucking do the right thing, they're gonna put us in a cage.
Yeah.
And it was true. If you went to Casa and you got sent to High Impact, you lived in a fucking cage, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah, they always used to. There was several people that went to Tranquility Bay and ended up coming back to Spring Creek, and they were the ones that was telling everybody, like, you don't want that, like, for real.
Oh, yeah.
You think it's bad here, like, you for real do not want that at all. Like if they're giving you a choice of work the program or go there, work your fucking program. Don't go there, dude.
Honestly, that's the advice I would have given you. I never said, "Hey guys, follow me."
Yeah.
I was always like, "Hey guys, do what you got to do to get home, man." They're like, "What about you?" I'm like, "Don't worry about me. I ain't got a fucking home to go to." You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I'm not sure if this is accurate, but people keep telling me this, Jordan. And we're gonna get to the riot, but people keep telling me I'm the only person to get emancipated at 17 and a half because they had no idea where to put me after I started the riots. Is that true? I'm the only person?
In what? The state of Idaho or the state of
No.
like in the
In
world?
Jamaica, my parents gave up custody of me and they emancipated me at 17 and a half. My parents got,
In Jamaica?
huh?
Did this happen in Jamaica?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Well,
tell you the whole story.
maybe you are the very first person in Jamaica.
Yep.
You know,
That's what
your
everyone keeps
screen
telling
went
me.
black. Did you? Okay. Okay. Never mind. We're back.
I have to plug it in.
Okay.
But yeah, man, everyone keeps telling me, like, you're the only one, Ryan. Like, what happened to you after the riots? Blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, the facility JK. Oh, that's a big story, man. You're gonna love this one, man. I beat the fuck out of JK. Oh yeah. But anyway, he emancipated me after I beat the shit out of him at 17 and a half. And I'll tell you that story. That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, they emancipated me at 17 and a half. And somebody caught wind that there was going to be a second riot.
Hold on a
And
second. You're like halfway into the camera. You're
oh
like
shit,
there.
sorry.
There you go. There you go.
I had to plug it in, my bad.
Oh, good. I
But
just
somebody caught
yeah.
wind that there was going to be a second riot. And there was. And you know what? I don't know if there was because I wasn't there and I haven't heard yet. But I was in staff watch. I'll just tell you that story when we get there. Damn, dude. I guess I'm gonna have to hold my phone for a minute. But no, man. So I don't forget. They put me on the phone with my Aunt Tina, and she was like, Ryan. And I was like, Aunt Tina, are you getting me out of here? And she was like, yes. Um, they're going to emancipate you. They're going to send you to Florida. This is my phone number. They didn't even let me keep her phone number.
Wow.
Got there, I had to get in the yellow pages. This is before cell phones, right? They're like, your mom gave us $100 to give to you. They put me in girls' clothes. When you first got to these facilities, you had a duffel bag with your shit in it. Well, they conveniently lost mine. So I still have the fucking girl clothes that they put me in. I just saved them for sentimental reasons. And I don't know why, but they put me in girls' clothes, like not girly, but like girl shoes, girl shorts, and a magenta shirt. And when I got to Florida, I had to go up to the people at the airport and be like, can you break $100 bill, please? And they're like, we can't. We don't have change for it. I'm like, what the fuck do I do, man? They're like, there's a bank if you leave the airport. I'm like, I'm not fucking leaving the airport. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
So I got changed finally, and I called my aunt. I went through the old pages, found my aunt's number. Thank God. And I called her and I was like, Aunt Tina, I'm free. I'm in Florida. And she was like, no, my gosh, Ryan, you're going to be here soon, honey. Don't worry. I'm like, all right. During the plane flight, I think I made like $250 telling my story.
There you go.
Yeah, just telling my story. People were like, why is there bruises all over you? What the fuck's going on, man? Is your parents beating you and all this stuff? When I landed, my grandma and my Aunt Tina were there and they took me straight to St. Alphonsus Hospital.
Okay.
I had bruises all over me. And then Scott Derval from Fox News did an interview with me, and it was all over Fox News. It was cool. And here's something that's very circumstantial, man. So I don't like saying things that are circumstantial. My family can collaborate, but we'll never know to this day. But I will tell you this. My first week at my Aunt Tina's house. I slept on the floor with a knife, and two guys that were masked with weapons were outside my Aunt Tina's house, and my cousins alerted me and said, "What the fuck's going on?" I went out there with a knife and was like, "I'll kill all you motherfuckers. Come on, man. Let's do this shit. You know, I'm fucking scared of you. Let's go, bitch." And my aunt was behind me, and I can't remember if she was carrying a rifle or not. She was she was in the Navy, so I mean I can't remember. All I remember is that like it was real, and they just bounced. And I slept on the floor with a knife for a long time.
Wow.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, man. I don't believe in that bullshit, but that's not my aunt had no beef with anybody. Nobody had beef with anybody. There was no reason for people to show up in mass like that.
Who do you think they were?
I don't know.
What does your gut tell you?
My gut tells me that after I tell you what I did to JK, you'll understand.
Okay.
You want me to jump into that? Then the
Yeah.
riot's gonna be the biggest one. But listen, after the riot, they made us write down how we participated in it, and they charged our parents for it. So there's video coverage of me breaking all the cameras. I just went from camera to camera to camera to camera, just banging them out, man. And JK brought me up to his office, and he was like, "You're out of control." And I'm like, "Dude, you guys have fucked me up so many times in the past month. It was over a month while we were in there." I turned around. Well, actually, I grabbed an object off his desk, turned around, hit this guy. I think his name was Mr. Russell, straight in the face. Remember, I was in wrestling and boxing. Grabbed him, kneed him right in the dick,
Nice.
and just gave him the meanest right hook that I had in my arsenal. And after that, I fucking I ran like 3 steps. That's it, 3 steps, and just lunged like a football player across the desk, and just completely took JK to the ground. And when I did, I grounded and pounded him. And it must have been at least 30 seconds until someone pulled me off of him. And then I had my whole new fucking torture coming. They did not take that lightly, I can tell you that. But it wasn't very long until they emancipated me, you know?
That's crazy.
But that's one of the, yeah. And I heard he went to prison. I don't know if that's true.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And we haven't even got to the right. There's so many stories, man. We could do this all day. I mean, like I said, if one regular person just lived one day in my life, it's traumatizing.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to handle it.
Yeah, no, man. I mean, the lifestyle that I live is just not your normal lifestyle. And I'm pretty sure you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, man. After I have another shot and smoke a bowl, we can go over the riot. What have you heard about the riot?
I haven't heard anything about the one at Tranquility Bay. I've only heard about the one at the Ivy Ridge.
Really? Dude, so after we started the riot in Casabythesea, I wasn't there to watch it go down, but we planned it big time. We planned Matt's escape. We planned the riot. We all took that strategy, and they sent us around the world to Ivy Springs, to Tranquility Bay, and we did the same thing over and over again. It's easy, man. Take over the kitchen, take over the guards, take the girls' facility, light the school on fire, and then let's escape. That was the same thing that everyone took from Casabythesea and spread everywhere. I mean, do you have any questions about the riot at Ivy Ridge? Because it's almost identical to the one at Tranquility Bay.
Not especially. I mean, I've interviewed a few people about it, and then also the program did a good job at illustrating
Yeah,
it.
but they didn't take hostages during the riot at Ivy Ridge.
No, they actually got hungry, and that's what, unfortunately, it was really sad.
They got
They were hungry. That's why the riot failed, is
yeah.
because people went into the kitchen and started grubbing.
Yep.
Because they were
Yep.
fucking starving, which I don't blame them. I don't fucking blame them. But
Well, we were happy. So we were actually happy that the majority of the people went to the kitchen because they stayed the fuck out of our way.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Um, yeah, man. I mean, the day before the riot. Yeah, man. This is a fucking story, man. I gotta take a shot and smoke a bowl for this one. I mean, it surprises me that you don't have questions about what happened in Tranquility Bay because it was like it was huge.
No, just about the riot. I just haven't heard about the riot in Tranquility Bay yet. So,
Wow, dude, I'm about to blow your mind, homie. You know what, man? Like, will you help me get a podcast started? Because
like, help you how? Like, what do you
I
need?
have no idea where to begin. And
I
would
honestly, to tell you the truth, I have no idea what I'm doing, bro. Like, I'm not. I mean, I can tell you. I'll tell you shit I know, but I'm not like a professional or anything.
Oh man, you are, man. A lot of people know your name, and I would be willing to buy in and make your podcast even bigger as long as we can let people tell their stories, which is what you're doing. And I have a lot of people that want to tell their stories, but I don't have a platform. You know, I mean, I'd be willing to pay money uh, to buy into it because you're very professional. You know what you're talking about, and you're just easy to talk to.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll definitely talk, and I'll help you. I mean, at the very least, I'll help you get your platform started. You know, I can
Sure.
tell you, I can show you, I can tell you what I've learned and like what I know from doing it for the short time I've done it. But yeah, I'll do what I can, bro.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we can talk about because if I can get my real estate agent to fund us a little bit, it might take us way farther than where you're at now.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's something we can talk about while we're not on live, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a conversation we'll definitely have, but just not on live. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. All right, man, the riot. I can't believe you've never heard about this riot. Oh boy. Mm. Well, it all started. It was the same people going back to OP over and over again. We didn't give a fuck, you know?
Yeah.
And this we were in staff watch at the time, and this 15-year-old German kid came in, and he was definitely schizophrenic. I don't want to speculate on exactly what he was diagnosed with, right? But he was definitely batshit crazy.
What makes you sit like? What about him? Like,
I tell you, I mean, like he was just like talking to himself and like arguing with himself, like having straight full blown conversations with himself.
okay.
And the staff member called Mr. Matthews bitch slapped him, told him to shut the fuck up. And this guy was huge, man. For a 15-year-old man, like he rivaled the guards. He was big. He started crying, and we were all lying down on our faces. He went into the bathroom. He grabbed the back off the toilet, the porcelain part. You would have think they would have had it fucking screwed down, right? Big mistake. Oh man, dude. He grabbed the back of the toilet and just went to town. And there was two staff members trying to stop him. He was just like whack, whack, whack. And they were putting their hands up to block their faces. I thought he was gonna kill me because he was in my way of running. He was in like the doorway area. And like he started coming after us. He barely missed my head, and that back of the toilet. Remember those wooden blinds I was telling you about?
Yep.
It completely just went through like it was karate kick. What? It just went through all the fucking wooden blinds at one time, and I was like, "Oh shit." Shit is going down. And I just started running. And usually they keep a real tight eye on you when you're in staff watch. They were like, run, run.
Wow.
I mean, yeah. And like everyone, the fire alarm, someone pulled a fire alarm.
There you go.
Like, and like you're trying to get out and you're stuck in the hallway because all these people, it's like bottled up. You were stuck. He came out to the what he did was after he like went to town with the back of the toilet, at the time we had just unlatched the walls and brought our wooden beds down. And there's two poles on the bottom that you put up that the top bunk comes down and rests on, right? We had just done that. And so after this guy was done, like he went and grabbed a pole. He didn't even know if it was gonna fucking come out or not, man. He didn't even give it a chance. He just fucking went left to right and fucking ripped it out. The last image I saw of him was me trying to get down the stairs and him walking like fucking a serial killer into the hallway with this pole, and the end of it had like wood on it because he broke it out of the wood bottom, and it had fucking piece of wood on it. And he walked into the hallway and just started screaming at the top of his lungs. Ah, and we're like, fucking move your asses. When we got out, man, I mean, we could hear fucking him screaming. We could hear a guard screaming. It was absolutely mayhem. Everyone was outside and people were running around without supervision. And that was a big deal, right? You couldn't run around without supervision.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people got category 3s and category 4 consequences, including myself.
Wow.
But after we stood in line, they were like, hey, Ryan, you spent enough time in staff watch. We're going to send you back to your family. I'm like, okay. During this time, we're all whispering to ourselves, like, if he could do that, we could do that. Start a riot.
Yeah.
Let's get it on, man. Like, let's do it. Fuck it. You know?
Yeah.
And so they put me back in my family. And the night of the riot, we decided that it would be a lot easier to do it if everyone was in the, their living quarters. And so we were on the second floor of the so-called school, and people were grabbing textbooks and slowly ripping out every page at a time.
Nice.
The plan was to send a group of people to the so-called school to take over the girls' facility, to take over the kitchen, and somehow find a way to start a fire.
Yep.
And then me, Silas, and Jake Fulton were going to escape. And then Shaquan, he had a rich aunt in Jamaica. They went right out the front door. I'm not sure if they jumped the concrete wall, but it wasn't very tall. I can tell you that. But yeah, Shaquan, man, he was the Mike Tyson, that's for sure, man. Wait till you get his interview. He was a badass motherfucker.
Oh yeah, I look forward to
He
it.
just got out of federal prison, man. he's a dope ass motherfucker. I can tell you that. But
yeah,
you should have seen it, man. When I flipped the table, they moved and like I wasn't the only one. There was 2 other people with me. We got into a huge fight with the guards, and they fucking tortured the shit out of us in front of everyone to make a point.
wow.
And then everyone got sent to the living quarters. And then me and those 2 people, we ended up in staff watch. Well, as soon as shift change ended and the night guards came in, or the night staff watch came in, We waited about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, because we figured that was our best chance before these staff members got to their house and got a phone call. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
So I remember his name, man. It was Andy Zimmerman. Him and his family went out into the hallway and screamed, "Riot! Fuck Tranquility Bay!" Man, that was all she wrote, bro. Everybody got up. Everybody started ripping poles out from the bunks. And then all you can hear is windows smashing left and right. Psh, 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 psh. It was nuts. Um, it was, the guards were bleeding everywhere. Kids were bleeding everywhere. Everyone was running around the courtyard, like everywhere. Everyone was just running around. It was just complete mayhem, man. It was just like such a rush of adrenaline. It was something you'll never understand unless you go through something like it. I ended up jumping out of Andy Zimmerman's bedroom window. They completely, when they broke the windows, you got to understand something. You had to break all the wooden blinds first.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so everyone was sitting there like, pow, pow. All the fucking wooden blinds are going there, glasses everywhere, man. And like I said, there's no shoes. And so, like, you got cut going out the window. The window that I went out was completely in the middle of the laundry area. Remember I told you how we did our laundry in buckets?
Yeah.
So it just so happened that one of my best friends, Silas, we met up outside in that area with Jake Fulton. And I was like, dude, grab as many clothes as you can. And I'm like, why? I'm like, just do it. And so we were running, grabbing clothes off the fucking off the fucking place where he hung him up with clothespins. And I'm like, dude, put him on the barbed wire, dude. Let's go, man. Move your asses. The guards were literally like on our ass. Any second longer, they would have grabbed one of our legs and pulled us down, because in order to escape, I don't know what it was, but it was this concrete structure that was like 6 feet high and wide. I think it was a sewer system or something. It was something like that, you know, it was like some kind of a water system. You had to get on top of that, and then you had to climb like a foot more and then jump over the barbed wire fence. But everyone listened to me, both of them listened to me, and we threw all the clothes down and we got over. And the only thing that they're like, this was probably the worst part, is that when you're climbing over, we lost our sandals.
Damn.
So, you know, you're walking barefoot on these rocks that are sharp as glass.
No bueno.
Yeah, dude. So our feet were bleeding everywhere, man. And Jake Fulton, he was like twice the size of me and Silas. I was bigger than Silas, which is not saying a lot, man. I was still small, but he was smaller than me. He was still carrying the pole with him. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? And I think it was Silas's idea. No, we talked about it beforehand. The whole idea was to get through the rocks and into the ocean, and then swim out as far as we could so we wouldn't get caught. And Jake Fulton was drowning because he was carrying that fucking pole, man. And I was like, Jake, drop that fucking pole, man. You know?
Yeah.
And we didn't have any water. We were definitely dehydrated. When you're in Jamaica, they give you this little fucking tiny thing, and you can fill it up with water when you got a second. They fucking starved you with water.
Yep.
They gave you this little tiny like thing, man, and you had to carry it with you wherever you went. It wasn't enough. And so I was talking to Silas, and I was like, man, what do you remember about that night, dude? He's like, dude, I remember when all of us were laying on our backs
looking back at the facility while it was lit up. There's some people that say they never made it to light the place on fire. They did. My one friend describes it like everyone was grabbing books with all the pages that were ripped out and throwing them up in the air. And you just saw pages of books flying all over the place up in the air. They said it was so fucking crazy. And then they lit the motherfucker up. It didn't get very far, but they tried. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
They tried, but they did. There was a group that did hop the walls and enter the girls' facility because I was isolated after the riot. I'm not sure how far they got, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we're laying in the water, looking back, and it's just like we're looking at the stars. We're floating on our backs, and we're just looking at Tranquility Bay, and like it was just like one big light. So it looked to me like it was a fire. That's gonna have to be somebody else's story because I wasn't there for that. But at one point, I was like, dude, we're never gonna survive without water because Jake was having panic attacks. Silas was scared. I was scared, and so I'm like, yo, let's go into shore and steal a boat. Yeah, that's how stupid I am. I'm like, man, let's steal a boat and try to get to the Cayman Islands. How far can it be, man? We didn't have
Yeah.
maps. We just figured, like, how far could it possibly be? So we went to shore, and me and Silas were going to steal this boat, and this guy comes out with a machete. One second, my man.
Yeah.
Yo, man, you trying to steal my boat, man? Me'll chop you up. You see me? You think it's a bad man? Yo, you's no bad man. Me'll chop you up. You see my fucking machete, man? Me'll cut your fucking head off. What the fuck? What the fuck? Are you kidding me, man? I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, dude, we surrender. Silas, Jake, get down on your fucking knees.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, man, there's a fucking alert out for you, man. Me, I got a phone call on my telephone. You guys are fucking escaped. Yo, man, you better not fucking move on me. I'll fucking cut your head off. Okay, man, we ain't moving, bro. You got my word on that, man. We're just gonna stay put. I had a watch on. Okay, an upper level gave me a watch before the riot. He was in on it. I had a watch on, and I was like, "Hey, man." Oh, he was like this. Yo, man, I like your watch. I'm like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Yo, man, you need to give it to me now." I'm like, "Hey, man, I see some Coca-Colas over there. I'll trade you for a Coke."
Nice.
And he did, man. He gave us the Coke. And me and Silas and Jake, that was one of the things that Silas remembered most was me trading my watch for a Coca-Cola. You don't know what it tastes like until you don't have it for a couple of years.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, man. And then the guy's like, yo, man, you guys are all right. You feel me? Yo, man, you guys can hide in my fruit shack. There was this fucking fruit shack. We hid in it. And I told Silas, I'm like, dude, everyone hide yourselves in your shirts. Jake, you obviously can't. So if they come, you need to take the fall, man, so me and Silas can continue this mission. He was way too big to hide in his shirt. They came with flashlights and they found Jake. And then I don't know how they found me, but they did. And they're like, where's Silas? I'm like, he's gone, man. He fucking ran a long time ago. He's fucking gone, dude. And Silas remembers that. That's crazy to me. I'm like, yeah, man, he's gone, bro.
He left a long time ago. And then somehow, I don't know, you'd have to ask Silas, they ended up finding him. He was so small, he actually was hidden in the shirt at first. But when they found us, man, I told you, you could see my teeth, bro. Do you want to see it right here on the interview?
I can see them. I've seen them, right? They're chipped, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Metal retainers. Dude, they beat me up with the walkie-talkie. Smashed my face in.
When they caught you?
Huh?
When they caught you?
Yep. They put us in a bus, and before they did, they beat us with they beat me with a walkie-talkie because they knew I was like one of the ringleaders of the whole thing. And when we got into the van and we started driving back to the facility, they were like completely out of line with the way that they were dealing with Silas. And I finally had enough of it and just was like, fuck you, and just went to town in the van, man. In the van, they smashed my head into the window so many times it knocked me out till I blacked out cold. When we got back to the facility, we were still barefoot, bleeding on our feet. They took us to a room and told us to lie on our faces, and that was a wrap. For me, at least. Yep.
Damn.
Yep. We spent the rest of our times laying on our faces. No food, no water. It was a fucking nightmare. They knew exactly what to do to control us. And that's the whole point that I'm going to try to make, is that that's complete child abuse.
Yeah, it's a bunch of things. It's child abuse, human trafficking,
Yeah.
mind control, a bunch of shit. Not saying that mind control is illegal, but what you do with mind control is illegal shit.
Yeah, just child abuse.
So, I mean, why would you want to try and control or dominate somebody's mind unless you're trying to do something nefarious? I can't think of it, like maybe there's like 1% of situations where that would actually, like, maybe if you're like worked for the CIA or some shit, even though the CIA is corrupt, but this is just like just a scenario, you know, say you're working for the CIA and you're trying to gather intel, you know, maybe in a situation like that, gathering intel because you can get inside their mind. But for the most part, you know, you shouldn't, you know, if you can't change somebody's mind, then that's just that, dude. You can't just like fucking brainwash them until they come to your side. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah. And dude, we're just at the riots, man. We haven't even gotten to what happened after I got out. That's another whole story in and of itself. Multiple stories, but yeah, man, the way that they use mind control, people that were in there with me were like, the CIA invented this shit.
Yep.
It was an experiment, Ryan. All this happened because they wanted you to get out and create chaos. That's why they did it. It was a social experiment, just like the Black Lives Matter. It's a fucking joke. When you get down to the nitty gritty, they want us to start chaos.
Well, they want us to be against each other.
Yeah,
I mean, too. The Black Lives Matter like started off as a good cause, but then it got tainted by a bunch of bad actors, including George Soros and a bunch of people. Yep. I don't really want to get too far into that because that's diving like kind of into politics and shit, and that's not what my channel is about, but definitely crooked. And, you know, it started off good in my opinion, but then a bunch of bad actors made it bad, you know, and it ended up
Well, can I say one thing on your podcast though?
Yeah, go ahead.
That Marine that got acquitted, I wish that he would ride the subway with me every day.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm gonna say about that, like you said. But yeah, man. So it was just very inhumane. Very inhumane. I'm glad that I made it out alive. There's people that I've been searching for that I can never find, and that bothers me big time. But at the same time, I still have hope because a lot of people have been searching for me for a long time. But since I don't have a strict platform for my social media, I have a Facebook account, but that's only to like, it was only to like see what family functions are going down. But now that I'm not invited to anymore, shit, man, I guess I'm gonna use it for something else. But yeah, man, before we continue on, I just want to say, man, like, I really respect what you're doing, Jordan. I mean, I wish that I can get in contact with the people that did that documentary of the program so I could just take off where they left off. But not one person out of all the people that have been blowing me up, no one has said, like, hey, Ryan, this is the person that produced that film. Let me get you in touch with them. So it's like, why? What's going on, man? Like, I guess I'm just so new to this whole thing that I don't understand the politics of it all yet. But to me, there's no fucking politics, man. It's all about getting the kids that are still in there out.
Yeah,
It's not about the money.
that's what it should be about.
Yeah.
It's just a
It's not
lot
about
of
the money. Yeah.
the
And
problem.
so,
Go ahead.
no, go ahead, man.
I was just going to say the problem is that unfortunately the brainwashing and mind control worked on all of us, and some more than others. And I just feel like we were trained to tear each other apart and to nitpick and to pick sides and to fucking do this whole like we need to fit in a certain area, or at least that was a lot of what I experienced in my program. And so a lot of people in my experience in this survivor community, I'm not going to say any names, but there's a lot of, there's a portion, not even a lot, there's a portion of people that are still brainwashed under mind control, or that's just how they are. And they just, they butt heads. They pick favorites. They they tear each other apart, and just like it takes away from the actual cause of what this really is about, because it's not about me, it's not about you, it's about these goddamn children that are still in these places. Amen, it's not, it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with who's who, whatever. That doesn't fucking matter. If you're really in this with your heart, then you're in it for the children. End of story. Like, period.
Yep. Hey, man, you nailed it, dude. I mean, that's it. That's the bottom line. That's it.
Yeah.
And if people are coming on here, a lot of people are like, oh, the reason why people don't get along in these groups is because everyone's looking for money.
Well, that too. There's that. There's a greed aspect to it too. And some people feel like they're entitled to the money because of the all the stuff they went through in the program, which I can understand that. Sure. But at the same time, that doesn't give you permission to take somebody else's story and profit off of it. You know what I mean? Or if you're doing it off your own story, which some survivors have. They've written books, they've helped with documentaries, they've focused on their experience, their time in the program. And just solely that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about using other people's story as a way to get rich, which I'm not. I accept donations, but what I do is I consider a lot different than demanding donations from people to produce content. You know what I mean?
Of course, dude. And you know what? I've never heard anything bad about you so far. And I've talked to like 4 or 5 people that know you. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to let you know that there are probably a few. I know there's a few that don't like me, but.
Yeah, well, they better tell me that shit, because I don't back down to nobody, man. If you can't tell already. Hey, let me see that, dude. Wow, I haven't seen this in a minute, man.
Paintball gun?
Oh, yeah, dude, a Tipman.
Hell yeah, nice. Nice.
Damn, dude, where'd you find this at? Oh, shit. Well, don't give me any of those while I'm on live TV.
Okay, I had a few more questions for you.
Yeah, man. Ask me as many as you want, dude.
So walk us through like what happened. Like, how did you end up getting out of Tranquility Bay? Where did you end up going from there? And what did your life look like after that?
Sure. I mean, I recovered it, but I'll do it again. Like since I've already done it, I'll just do the quick crash version. All right.
Okay.
I started a riot. They emancipated me at 17 and a half, sent me to Florida. I flew to Idaho to live with my aunt in Caldwell. And within less than a year, I went to prison.
Okay. Okay. And how long were you in prison for?
Less than 2 years.
Okay. And when you got back out, what happened after that?
I got 2 degrees, one in accounting and one in finance from Boise State University.
Okay. And what did you do after you got your degrees? What did you do for work? What did you?
Well, my main job was illegal.
Okay. You don't have to cover it if you don't want
Yeah.
to. It's totally.
And I did go to work for places for tax purposes. I worked at Dillard's first. Well, actually, my first job was in those places I told you, cleaning parking lots. When I first got out of Jamaica, I worked at McDonald's. That didn't last very long. It was at the McDonald's in Walmart on Garrity, or not in Garrity, on Cleveland Boulevard in Caldwell. Um, After that, I went to California. I sold car parts, and then I worked at a car dealership. And by the way, I just want to tell you this: everywhere I ever went and worked, I was number one. No matter where I worked, I was number one every time. So I thought I was untouchable. But
Yeah.
anyway, um, when I worked at the car dealership in Huntington Beach, I had an apartment in Huntington Beach, and I just got finished shooting up heroin, and I fell asleep with a cigarette in my hand, and it fell into the trash can. I woke up, and my roommate was pulling me out of my room, and he had like super huge burns on one of his hands from opening the door to my bedroom because it was so hot. My life in Huntington Beach was very, very short. I worked at the number one dealership in the world, Huntington Beach Nissan, and I was number one there. I went to go visit my best friend from childhood, which, by the way, I met him when we were like fucking little kids at the Boys and Girls Club. Somebody was picking on him, and this is the guy whose brother I stole the skateboard from, right? But my best friend's name was Richard. His brother was John, but Richard, somebody was picking on him, and I remember grabbing a 2x4 and just whack, whack, just going to town, man. And we ended up getting kicked out. Well, I did anyway. But anyway, fast forward. I mean, there's so many stories I could tell you about Richard, John, Daniel, all of them. I mean, we're all still homies. I haven't gotten in touch with Daniel in a minute, but I need to. But while I was selling cars, I was loaded with a bunch of money, man. You make a lot of money if you can sell cars in Huntington Beach, man.
Yeah.
So I went down to visit my buddy Richard, who was the president of the biggest fraternity at San Diego State University.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the president of the fraternity, and I have to ask him what it was called. But when I went there, it was like something out of the movies. It was totally fucking insane. The fraternity house. I remember having sex with multiple different girls in the bathroom.
There you go.
It's not my proudest moment, but I'm just saying that's what it was like. Everyone was on ecstasy. Everyone was on cocaine. Um, I actually brought my fiance with me, and she didn't care if I had sex with other girls, which was really cool of her. She wasn't really happy about it the next day, but but I mean,
Yeah.
but I mean, my friend Richard, he was dating the girl that I dated, or the girl that my friend was dating. Her name was Nicole Babishoff. She lived right down the hill from me in Brea, and I was really good friends with her older brother, Mike Babishoff. And my little brother was in the same grade as Nicole, and they dated. And then to find out that Richard's with her, it was just like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like none of us really cared like about sharing girls and stuff like that. We never like did it on purpose, but you know, when you're in a social circle, you're gonna meet people through MySpace or Facebook and shit like that. You know what I mean? And if I had a nickel for every girl that fucked one of my best friends, I'd be rich because you can't control that shit. Just like they can't control what you do.
No.
Some people may not like that, but that's the way it was back then. It's not the way I live my life now, but that's the way I lived it back then. I was proud to have sex with twins multiple times. Would I be proud of that today? I don't know, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
so when I
go
went to
ahead.
San Diego State to visit Richard, I was having sex with this girl. She was the squad leader on the soccer team. She had a six-pack, man. But I was having sex with her, and we were hotboxing the car. I got arrested and charged with a misdemeanor for possession. And
Wow.
the next day, my mom cleaned my bongs, got in the car with me, and we drove back to Idaho. I couldn't cut it in California. I was just way too out of control.
Yeah.
Um,
When
and
did
when I
this?
got when I
When did? Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
When did the drugs start for you? Like using drugs, because you mentioned heroin. I'm a recovered, or yeah, recovered meth and heroin addict. I did it for over a decade. I'm on methadone now. I'm working on tapering off, and I smoke weed, but I did that for over a decade. So when did it start for you, and like what did it start with?
So when I was sent to the program, the only thing I'd done up until that point was smoke some weed.
Me too.
Ironically, I started smoking weed at a church, the church I was actually telling you about. Yeah, and when I got out, I was clean for a while, and when I went to California, when I started working at Huntington Beach Nissan, I started using meth because you have to work an insane amount of hours at that place.
Yeah,
And, you know,
unrealistic.
going from Brea to Huntington Beach, that's a 45-minute to an hour drive just to get there. You
Yeah,
got to take the 57 freeway, connect to the 91. I mean, get off on Beach Boulevard and fucking take side streets to get there. It was just one big pain in the ass. And then you had to do that going back home. And so it was easier for us to get gym memberships where we could go in the morning, shave, shower, get our clothes on, and go to work than it was to drive back and forth from our house every day. We used to sleep in our cars.
yeah,
And we used to sleep like four people at a time in one car so we could all keep safe.
yep,
Being in Huntington Beach in that kind of an area, that's how I ended up getting my apartment, by the way. But being in Huntington Beach during that time frame was very dangerous.
yeah,
A lot of people were pissed off at the world. Homelessness was up big time. And, you know, if you're selling meth, and I never sold meth, by the way. I want to make that clear.
yeah,
Um, that doesn't make me a better person than anybody else because eventually I'll get to the part where I sold a ton of fentanyl. But yeah, that's when I started using. Is when I started working at the car dealership. I used to do meth to stay up during the day,
yep.
and I did it with my bosses. I did it with the GMs and the assistant GMs. They gave it to me for free. I was their cash cow. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
So, what other questions do you have, man?
Um.
Fentanyl?
uh. Yeah. I mean, if you want to go over that, I mean, is that something that's come and
So,
gone,
so
or?
here's what happened. Here's what happened with the heroin. When I went back to Idaho, I was still 18 years old. There was a task force here called the Bandit Task Force, and I was under surveillance for months. They waited till a week after I was 18, and I have my discovery. And some people don't understand what a discovery is. They think I'm referring to a seminar. I'm
No.
talking about what you get when you get arrested.
Yeah. It's everything. It's all the details about a
That's
case.
right,
It's
everything.
everything.
And
Yeah.
so Um, man, I mean, I pulled a weapon on an undercover cop. He was wearing a wire. I
Allegedly.
got caught with a ton of weed. And the funny thing is that I still have the air sealer. I still have the same air sealer to this day that I had back then, and they didn't even find a pound of it. We had just bought them, and by the way, we were using fake IDs, man.
Yeah.
Get into places. You know, I thought I knew how to get fake IDs because of California, and so I was having sex with the landlord that I was renting an apartment from, man, and she was so smoking hot, and she, you know, at the time she was way older than me, and like it just made my reputation go even bigger than it was, man. It was just too big to fail, in my opinion. That's what happened to me. Um, but yeah, we had just bought, we had just gotten a real nice apartment off of Cole and Fairview. Hey, Anthony, do you know what that apartment's called on where we go to the pool at? Jump the fence, go to the pool? Um, well, there's an apartment complex on Cole and Overland, and man, it was on the third story. We had a fireplace, we had a balcony. It was badass. It cost a lot of money, man. And I didn't even tell you the story about me living on Vista, by the way. That's the first time the cops got a whiff of me. I was on the run for a long time. If you write that down, I'll go back to that. But I'm going to continue on this one. So we were living there, and you know, the we did a couple controlled buys. You know what that is, right?
Yeah.
So they got us on wiretap, and I went down to my car. I signaled Sean like it's a-okay. He had a pound of weed on his back. When he got to the bottom of the stairs, all these fucking people started getting out of the bushes. This big fucking van just right behind
Yep.
my car. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was smoking, and I had a cigarette in my hand. And before Sean got to my car, I was about to light it when they hit. And after they hit, I sat there like a gangster, man. I'm saying this, man, and I'm telling you it's the truth. I put the cigarette in my mouth and I lit it up. I tried to light it up. Thank you, man. I lit it up, and the windows were closed, and I had my seatbelt on, and they're like, had their guns pointed at me, and they're like, you need to roll down the window now. And I was like, this, give me 1 second, man. And I just sat there smoking my cigarette, thinking about what I can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I gonna do, man? Because, and I can say this because I've already been in trial for it. I can't get charged again, but right before Sean walked down the stairs with a backpack full of weed, that undercover with the wire on came into my house with the other person that I knew for a while. Fucking snitch. A fucking a fucking PI or whatever. A CI, confidential informant. Um we had we had these cameras in my house that it looked like Scarface. Just all these monitors that you bought at the time that are now replaced with things that hook up to your TV. At the time, you had monitors. And I never thought in a million years that an undercover would come after me. Who am I? I'm just a fucking weed dealer, you know? And yeah, I sold a ton of ecstasy, but not on a regular basis, you know?
Yeah.
Every now and then, if I got my hands on a good like boat for the right price, sure, I'll pick it up. Because we went to a lot of parties. We threw a lot of parties. Tons of parties, man.
Also, that's good. That's good money. $5 a pill is good money. Or
Dude,
$10 a
20
pill.
bucks. 20
Yeah.
bucks
Yeah.
for a triple stack. Bare
Yeah.
naked ladies, FUs. I mean, dude, we got to the point where we had our own pill press.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. And when we got busted, they found ecstasy on us, and we never got. They're like, oh, for every single ecstasy pill that you get caught with, you can get charged with a felony.
No,
They didn't charge us.
that is a thing. They can do that.
Sure, but they
That's a
didn't do it to
legit
me.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I
they
have a
didn't do
friend
it to
that
me.
got,
Yeah.
yeah, I have a
So,
friend. I know somebody that got like 100 years because he had 100
well,
pills.
yeah, they only caught me with like 17.
Of course, he didn't serve 100 years. He served like fucking like
Oh,
30 years or something because
wait a second. You're correct, man. The reason why I couldn't get charged was because they found it in the living room and they could not pin it on any one particular person.
yeah, yep. Yeah. If it
That's
had
why I
been on
didn't
your
get charged with it.
if it had
Yeah.
been on your person, you would have been fucked.
Oh yeah, man. I guarantee I would have. Dude, this is a
Guaranteed.
state where if you got caught with a seed at that time, you got charged with a misdemeanor.
Yeah, Idaho is still kind of fucking. I was gonna ask you about that. Like, how do you like living in Idaho, man? Because like you
It's
have to
easy.
be like an outlaw to fucking even smoke weed out there, right?
No, man, because they legalized it in Oregon, so people can just drive an hour, get their weed, and
Okay.
it's such a huge industry that the police. I'm gonna get to this, but my friends are laughing. Dude, the police come through my house and see bongs and weed everywhere, and they never charge me for shit. I'll get to that point. But I mean, yeah, man, in Idaho, like it's rampant. It's right across the border. And nobody's gonna fuck with you. It used to be if you got caught with 2 ounces or more, that was a felony. Now
Well,
you get caught with 2 ounces, it's a fucking misdemeanor.
if you live there, right? Because if you're isn't there's a difference opposed to like if you live there versus just driving through, right? So if you were
No,
just driving through and you got caught, wouldn't you get in more trouble because you don't live
yes,
there?
yes. The reason why they don't get anyone in trouble is because it's extremely dangerous to do that. Because if they put one person over, it's trafficking. Anything from state to state's trafficking.
Yep. Yep.
And so they're just skipping the whole process. I mean, unless you're a major drug dealer, they don't fuck with you with weed. They're going after fentanyl hardcore right now, heroin hardcore right now.
As they should.
Yeah, but I mean, they're pretty much leaving the people that smoke weed alone. Now, if you get busted like by child services and shit like that, they're gonna make an issue of it. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, that's
But
around kid. Yeah.
yeah, but since like 80% of all the sales done in Oregon, which is right across the border, man. You cross the border, boom, you're there. 80% of the weed profits are from people from Idaho.
Yeah.
That's a big number. So that's a lot of money. So they don't even mess with you, man.
Okay.
They won't pull you over. I mean, if you do something stupid and let's just say they pull you over and you got weed in your pocket, the funny thing is you get a bigger charge for paraphernalia than you do for actually owning some weed or wax.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, the charge for drug paraphernalia is higher than people getting caught with weed.
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And that's because like 15 years ago, there was a bunch of head shops here in Boise. But those people all ended up going to prison for a long time. They're still not even out yet. But now that weed's so rampant, people are starting head shops here again. And the people here voted against it. They don't like it. And so you get more trouble for a pipe than you do for an ounce of weed. That's how it is.
Interesting.
They're trying to send a message to the people here that opened up head shops like, nope, not gonna happen. And by the way, did you pay your taxes?
Yeah.
That's how it is, man. Did you pay your fucking taxes? Did you pay your fair share? Fuck your weed, man. I care about that glass pipe. That's more important than an ounce of weed. Like, that's how ridiculous it is in this state. And when you ask why I like living here, it's because it's a joke. It's so easy. Don't pop your head out. Don't cause any trouble. And you got a nice, easy life ahead of you. That's the reality. It's way easier to live in Idaho than anywhere I've ever lived before.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper too.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, my mortgage is less than $800.
Nice. I'm paying fucking 1260 for a 1 bedroom, 1 bath in an apartment.
Yo, you want to? Don't forget to remind me. Look at this, man. I'll give you a tour of my house, homie. I just don't want to get in any trouble. But
Yeah, we can do that off stream. But if you could go back in a time machine, knowing what you know now, and not go through Casa by the Sea or Tranquility Bay, would you do it, and why?
if I could change anything,
Like if you could go back in a time machine and not go through them, knowing what you know now.
I saved a lot of kids' lives, man. I'm still trying to actively save people's lives because one death is one too many in my book. I got these moms messaging me about their sons who committed suicide. I don't have an answer for most of these moms because, like, for example, a mom hit me up yesterday and was like, it's been 20 years since my child killed himself, and I've been keeping a secret. He told me that he was molested and all this stuff. And where I was at in Mexico and Jamaica, it was very, very off limits. Like, it was strictly off limits. There's going to be no gays. Nope. Absolutely nothing, dude. No way. People, I've seen some bad things, Jordan. Things that I don't know if you want me to talk about on this podcast, but it was definitely a no-no. So you have to tell this parent, like, I don't know what he went through because it never happened to me. But since I've been to prison, I know exactly what you're talking about. If you need someone to talk to, hit me up. And they hit me up. And I mean, I have a really good understanding of what they went through. But since I didn't go through it personally, I feel like they need a different platform. There's got to be some kind of a group where people that were sexually molested and shit like that, there's got to be a group for them to go to, right? I mean, someone has to have started one because there's too many people that say it went on.
Yeah. So do you know? So do you think you would have went back? You think you would have still went through it then?
I have no regrets. The amount of people in the last 4 days that have reached out to me makes me think that I'm not. I'm a very religious person. It's kind of funny because I don't have a God, but I would be very naive to be like, oh, I believe in Scientology. Okay, well, what do you believe in? The Big Bang Theory. Okay, well, who made those planets to hit each other? It was just there. Okay, well, then who snapped their fingers and just like, it's there? Somebody is responsible for everything. And since the earth is billions of years old and we've only been here for 10,000 years, we don't fucking know. So stop trying to act like you fucking know, man. There's something that created everything. And I don't care what God you pray to or what you believe in, unless you believe that nobody snapped their fingers and shit was just there, then what do you believe in? Everything was just there? Nobody made anything? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, if you want to give your opinion, it better be educated. Because if you say Scientology and like, oh, you know what? Everything was just here. Nobody made anything. That's fucking nonsense, man. And I can't stand it. That's my opinion. And if people don't agree with it, that's fine. Let's move on. But I mean, I have a hard time trying to listen to people that don't understand something made everything. Something made you. Something made this earth. Something made this universe. Something made the stars. This shit cannot just be here. Now, you can say, I don't have no idea how it got here, so I'm not going to give an opinion. That's more intelligent than saying, you know what? Everything was just here. We just showed up and it was just here. That's fucking retarded to me, man. And a lot of people don't share that opinion. And I'm very opinionated about that. I don't know who to pray to, but I guarantee someone's listening when I speak to them. I can't pray to a certain God because religion is the most weaponized spear in the history of mankind.
Yeah.
It is. It's the most weaponized industry of all time.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I'm not going to participate in it or be a part of it. I do not agree with it. But that doesn't mean that we can explain how we went through certain things in life and somehow managed to walk out of it alive.
Yeah.
Me, it's unexplainable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you were at Casa or Tranquility Bay, did you ever hear about anybody like disappearing? Like, did anybody just disappear one day from the campus and was never found? And then also, have you ever heard about any staff members being sexual or like grooming towards any of the students, or did you experience that at all?
So I've definitely seen people just disappear. Um, they would say rumors like they went to Tranquility Bay. Like when I was in Costa, for example, they went to Tranquility Bay, or they went to Costa Rica, or they went to Somalia. One day they would just be gone. I have not had the time to go through my journals to find out who all these people are, but I definitely documented it. I wanted to be a journalist, man. So like I wrote down everything, but what was the second question? Oh yeah. So me personally, um, the things that I've witnessed firsthand is the brutality that happened if somebody came out and said like they were gay or shit like that. They made inappropriate gestures, or it was just drama. You know, I think that a lot of people blew it out of proportion, but that's my experience. Someone else's experiences can be completely different, because since I was such a opinionated person and I would fight, the smartest thing anyone can do is keep me away from it. Because if I saw someone getting a fucking bar of soap shoved up their ass, I would stop it. I would stop it right away. And I've seen more horrific things than I want to talk about, my man. And we can talk about it, but I never witnessed any like staff members molesting any kids, not personally.
Okay.
I mean, you hear stories, but it's speculation, because since I never went through it, makes me question if they really went through it or if they're just seeking attention. Because you'd have think that I'd have saw it at least one time. I never saw it once. And that doesn't mean it didn't happen, right?
Yeah,
They
definitely.
they wouldn't want someone like me to see it. It would be fucking hell to pay.
Well, yeah, the staff would also take that away from make sure that they were not around any other kids when they did that.
Oh
So.
yeah, man. I mean, yeah, if I knew about a staff member, dude, I would really fuck the staff up just for restraining people. Just imagine if I found out that there was anything where the staff were molesting kids. I can say this on live air because it's the truth. I would have killed them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. I don't care about saying that out loud. I
No,
would have,
I
man. If
feel
I
that.
saw that shit in front of my eyes, I would have fucking took their life.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. What about the grooming? Did you witness any like staff members like
Oh
trying to,
yeah, yeah. I
like
mean, but yeah, but that's like that's that's everywhere. That's the staff would baby a couple people so they could get the 4-on-1 on what's going on. And then their big mistake was they drop them like a bad habit and pick up someone else. And so that person is left there like, what the fuck, man? I spilled the beans and I ratted and I did all this stuff, and now you guys are gonna fucking put me on the sidelines where people like Ryan Man are gonna fuck me up. Happen all the time. All the time.
okay. And what do you think would have helped you instead of being sent away to these places back in the day? What do you think you needed?
love and understanding. You know, going through the whole thing where your father kills himself, it's to be expected that that child is going to act out a little bit.
Definitely.
There's a difference between acting out and being completely out of control. I was never completely out of control. Not to the point where, I mean, I was completely out of control, but I was just doing it what everyone else does in California. It's just a lifestyle. And if I was like an outlier, I get it, but everyone was doing what I was doing, if not worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that I was where I was supposed to be because, you know, when you see someone getting restrained and tortured and you just run and tackle that staff member and stop that kid from being tortured so bad, it's like a rush.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I completely know. Did go ahead? Finish your thought.
Oh man, like we've only covered half my life story, if that. Yeah. After I turned 18, fuck man. Yeah. Hey Anthony.
Yeah, I'm taking this.
Which one? No, not that one. Yeah, man, like my life is fucking absolutely insane. But what separates me from other people is that I live my life with a code. I have values, I have ethics, and I don't cross those lines. I did. We never got into that. You asked me about the heroin. You want me to finish that off for you?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I dabbled in heroin when I was in Huntington Beach, but I quit for the longest time. And it was up until like 5 or 6 years ago, I got, well, listen to this, man. When I worked at Dillard's, they only hired active police officers. And most of them were police officers in Meridian and Boise. And they smoked weed, man. And I'm like, dude, if I'm ever going to get raided, you better let me know. They're like, no doubt, man. I remember my Aunt Christy being here and me getting a phone call saying, dude, you're about to get raided. And like I mean, me and my friend Anthony right here, we had like hours to get everything out of my house that was illegal. And when they hit me hard and they didn't find jack shit. Nothing. And so I turned around and I'm like, where's my dogs? Where's my dogs? They're gone. Okay. So I start calling around like, we got to find my dogs. Someone calls me and says, hey, man, I got the alert about your dogs and I went to the Humane Society and I saw both your dogs there. I'm like, what? You know what, man? I'm going to send you the recording of me in court because they took it so far. But I was like, they chipped both my dogs wrong. They chipped them wrong. So when I was searching for them, I was trying to go through Pet Point Management. They couldn't find them. By the time that person came to my house and said, hey, I saw your dogs at the Humane Society. I went and looked for you. What? By the time I got there, they had already killed one of my dogs. What do you think I did, man? What a good day, huh? I destroyed the fucking place, man. I went in there and fucking the animal control officers, they didn't do a motherfucking thing. I grabbed my remaining dog that was still alive, walked out of there, gave my dog to my cousin, went to my house, locked my house up tight, went into the middle of the street and waited for the cavalry to arrive, and they arrived fast. On your knees, hands behind your head. We're going to go through your house. No, you're not. No, you need to give us permission to go through your house. No, I don't. Man, no, you don't. You have a warrant? fuck off, bitch. I mean, I did my time. When you listen to the recording, it's like the third or fourth time they're charging me for the same bullshit, except for this time they charged me for a dog at large. They
Wow.
charged me with a dog at large, a $25 ticket, and I had to go to fucking jail for I don't even know how long, man. And they put me on unsupervised probation for 2 years for a
Wow.
fucking dog at large, $25 ticket. Yeah. Yeah. I had to sign a deal saying that I would not sue the Humane Society, but at the same time, they would drop all the charges. Well, they dropped all the charges and then turned around and charged me with something else.
Yeah.
It's all on the
They
recording,
do.
man. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, send it to me.
Oh, yeah, man. I'll send it to you, dude. I mean, it's so ridiculous when you listen to it because all I do is bait them in the whole time until the very end. And I'm like, you know what, Your Honor, I've been charged for this. I've been charged. I waited till all of their bullshit was done and the recording's chopped up because you got to remember there's multiple microphones in there.
Yeah.
So, like, it's all chopped up a little bit, especially towards the end, man. I remember the police just lining up behind me, and I was like, I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of you. You have a family. You have a family. You have a family. Fuck around and find out. I mean, I never had kids. So when they killed my dog, it was like killing my son.
Yeah.
I took it very, very hard.
Yeah.
And like what I was going to tell you at the very beginning is like I lost one of my best friends to suicide. In the same week, my dog of 11 years, my mom took him to the Humane Society and they found tumors in him. That was probably the hardest decision I've ever had to make was to put him down because he wasn't healing. He was bleeding everywhere and it was just a nightmare.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that.
That's all right, man. And I didn't even get into my story as I got older, but we've been on doing this for a minute and my homies are waiting for me so we can do this again. But
Oh yeah, we'll do a part two. We'll do a part two.
Yeah,
But
man. But if you have any questions, ask me right now while it's all fresh in my mind.
okay, well, I didn't really have any more questions for you. I was just going to say if you have anything
Sure.
else that you want to say about your experience in boarding school or anything you want to say before we end this, because we'll do a part two since you still want to talk about some more stuff. Let's do a part two. But for this interview, do you think there's anything else you want people to know about your experience or anything you tell a parent thinking about sending their kid to a place like this?
Oh, man. Absolutely ridiculous. Those parents should go to jail. You want to send your kid to a fucking behavior modification facility? You better be prepared for when they get home because when we get home, we're not very happy. You just lost your relationship with your kid possibly forever.
Yep.
You got to think about that before you make that choice because people ain't joking. Kids ain't joking. When people say I haven't talked to my dad in years, I haven't talked to my stepdad in years, and my stepmom won't talk to me. So it's a two-way street. You better think twice, long and hard. Do your research. Find out exactly what you're getting into, because this could be the difference between your kid living and dying. And there's a higher chance that he's going to commit suicide than he's going to live. I cannot believe how many kids have committed suicide. It's unbelievable. That's what I would say.
Amen to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in the survivor community alone, it's unfathomable how many fucking people have killed themselves.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, man, I'm glad you made it out alive. I'm glad you're doing this podcast. Keep it going, man. If there's a way to reach the parents with the information that I just told you, you should do it. You should tell them. You better do your research. You better do your research because your kid's life means something. And if it doesn't, then you're just a piece of shit. If you can't do some research and be like, oh shit, maybe it's a bad idea to send my fucking kid across state lines, across the US border. Maybe it's a bad idea. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? You're gonna dish out all that money and not know a fucking thing that you're doing?
Yeah.
You should go to jail. You should be a criminal. That's my opinion, man.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Let's definitely do a part 2. If you don't hear from me by tomorrow, send me a message and remind me, and we'll schedule that part 2. Okay. And
yeah, and there's like 3 different people that are waiting for this interview to end so I can send it to them because they want to know what's going on and possibly fund me.
yeah, so this video will not the video that I'm going to be releasing, but the raw interview that we just did. Well, you can download it in the Skype. It'll just appear like 5 minutes after we get off the call. So you can send that to them, or you can wait till I finish my video. But my video is going to have like just some stuff, my introduction, and I use my music and all that stuff. But yeah, I would send them just the raw interview. If you do what you want, but thank you guys so far for watching the video. Please make sure you like the video. Please share the video. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers. Let's get into the main algorithm, and let's just expose these places and spread a lot of awareness and help these children still inside of these schools. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will catch you on the next one.